The unified exam is only 1 day away, a countdown that will seal the fate of every student in Class 5, Grade 3. The class teacher, Chen Fan, lays out the two starkly different paths: the safe and predictable liberal arts exam for a normal life, or the deadly martial arts exam for those with awakened abilities, a path that requires combat gear and a willingness to face death. In this world, humanity is not alone. Monstrous beasts roam outside the city walls, a constant, terrifying threat, and only awakened individuals possess the power to fight them back. In the back of the class sits Zhu Jingaming, a seemingly calm student whose serene expression hides a turbulent mind. While others listen, he reflects on his own power, a pathetic E-grade weak electricity, with all the stopping power of a common stun baton. This is the meager ability he has to bet his life on. His contemplation is shattered when a blonde-haired bully named Huang Tian leans over, mocking him for even considering the martial arts exam with such a useless power. A girl named Lin Kingley quickly jumps to his defense, telling Huang Tian to mind his own business. But the bully simply scoffs, vowing to show her his superiority in the upcoming exam and sneering that a pretty boy like Zhu Jingaming is guaranteed to die on the exam grounds. Lin Kingley then turns to Zhu Jingaming, gently suggesting that changing his major to liberal arts and living a safe life in the city wouldn't be so bad. But for Zhu Jingaming, safety is an illusion. He knows that choosing the martial arts exam means entering a designated location to fight fierce beasts to the death, a brutal trial where only the strongest survive to enter an ability user university. Yet his mind flashes back to a horrifying memory: his parents' bloody corpses after they were killed in a beast tide. He understands that even if he avoids the exam's high mortality rate, he can never escape a future where he is powerless to resist the world's dangers. With a quiet but unshakable resolve, he declares internally that he will still choose the martial arts exam. Later that day, he trains relentlessly, his silhouette swinging a long spear against the setting sun. He collapses in exhaustion, frustrated that after 2.5 years of practice, his proficiency remains at a beginner's level. As he lies defeated on the floor, his hand brushes against a device, and a holographic screen suddenly flashes to life before his eyes. It announces a successful system activation and offers him a newbie gift package. A predatory grin spreads across his face as he realizes this is the legendary cheat system for transmigrators, his one true chance. The package contains an S-rank super ability and 200 ability points, a reward so ludicrously powerful it's almost unheard of, as S-rank awakeners are national treasures fought over by the most elite institutions. Declaring that even E-rank trash like him now has a chance to defy destiny, he accepts the gift. Power surges through him as his very heart is reforged by divine lightning. The energy erupts from his body, blowing out the walls and windows of his apartment and causing a panic on the street below 44-45. The sky darkens ominously, and a colossal thunder dragon manifests in the clouds, putting the entire city's military, Jiangcheng's 3rd Legion, on high alert as they mistake the phenomenon for an invading beast 48-50. Inside the storm of power, Zhu Jingaming screams in agony as the transformation reaches its climax. Finally completing at 100%, he rises from the rubble, his body crackling with untamed purple lightning, his old ability replaced by the S-rank Purple Heaven Divine Thunder, a force powerful enough to obliterate a person in a single strike. Surveying the wreckage of his training room, he notes that he'll have to be more careful with this new power. Curious about the 200 ability points, he opens his system panel, which displays his new stats, including his S-rank ability. With a look of pure, unadulterated excitement, he commands the system to use all 200 points to maximize his combat power, ready to unleash his newfound strength on the world. Deciding that the essence of superpowers lies in the body and mind, Zhu Jingaming allocates the 200 points to his two basic attributes. The numbers on his stat screen rapidly increase as a surge of raw power courses through him, making him marvel at the sensation of boosted blood energy and mental acuity. The system confirms the upgrade. Both his physique and mind have increased by 20 points, leading him to calculate that each ability point is worth 2 units of power. A confident smirk spreads across his face as he wonders how he now stacks up against the 700,000 other students in the province and the prodigies trained by elite mentors. Just as he decides to test his newfound strength at a martial hall, his door is violently kicked open. A squad of firefighters bursts in, responding to a rescue call about a fire in his apartment. Zhu Jingming calmly explains that the commotion was just a side effect of his power training, and that everything is now under control. The firefighters, accustomed to the chaos caused by ability users, accept his explanation and retreat, remarking on how impressive the next generation has become. With the interruption handled, Zhu Jingming heads to Thunderclap Martial Hall, one of the two most famous training centers in the nation and the only one that offers free access to high school students 81, 82. There, he unexpectedly runs into his cousin, Tang Kai, and her friends. After a brief exchange, he excuses himself to go to the training room. As he walks away, Tang Kai notes that he seems different than before, while her friend Xiaoya immediately develops a crush on the handsome stranger. Her infatuation dies instantly, however, when Tang Kai reveals that her cousin only has a pathetic E-rank ability. The group's male companion scoffs at Zhu Jingming's foolish courage, while Tang Kai can't help but worry that he's taking an unnecessary risk by participating in the exam at all. Inside a private training room, Zhu Jingming picks up his spear and is surprised by how light it feels, a testament to his strengthened physique. To test his raw power, he strikes a training target, registering an astonishing 321 cal, more than double his previous strength, and far beyond the 100 cal limit of most awakened students 101, 102. Now, it was time to test his S-rank ability. Channeling the purple heaven divine thunder through his spear, he unleashes a strike that obliterates the target, the monitor flashing a mind-boggling 3021 cal. Realizing his true trump card is the fusion of his physical strength and his lightning ability, he prepares for his final test. Roaring the name of his technique, Lightning Gale, he launches a devastating attack that sends a massive tremor through the entire floor. The powerful energy fluctuation shocks Tang Kai and her friends, who recognize it as the level of a true power user, something that shouldn't be possible on a floor reserved for high school students. Intrigued, Tang Kai leads the group to investigate the source of the incredible power. As they follow the residual energy, they round a corner and come face to face with Zhu Jingming, who is calmly walking away. He tells them he's simply heading home to prepare for the exam tomorrow and walks past, leaving them behind. Eager to find the powerful user, the group ignores him and rushes to the training room he just exited, only to be greeted by a scene of utter destruction, with the high-tech equipment completely demolished and the target reduced to a mangled wreck. Stunned by the devastation, Tang Kai's friends can't believe a high schooler from Jiangcheng could possess such power, speculating that it must have been a second-order ability user who wandered in by mistake. Xiaoya, however, points out that Zhu Jingming was the only one who passed by, theorizing that he might be a hidden genius waiting to make a grand debut at the exam. Her companions laugh off the idea, mocking her for reading too many web novels, and stating that an E-rank awakened would be lucky to have an attack power of 300. As they argue, Tang Kai examines the damage more closely, noticing the clean puncture marks were clearly made by a spear, which brings an image of her spear-wielding cousin to mind. A seed of doubt is planted, making her wonder if Zhu Jingming is truly biting off more than he can chew. The next day at the martial arts exam site, hordes of aspiring students gather, their nervous energy palpable. The sight of a unicorn rhino behind the fence sends a wave of panic through the crowd, as this year's exam is already proving to be far more brutal than previous ones. A cocky swordsman named Zhu Minjiang, known as the Gentle Wind Sword of First High, dismisses their fears, drawing the ire of Zhu Jingming's best friend, Liu Jai. Liu Jai explains that Zhu Minjiang is a B-rank genius who has already broken through to become a first-order ability user, making him the top contender for this year's exam. The exam commander, Wang Heiyang, begins his briefing, outlining the 12-hour test that will take place in the ruined town behind them. The site is divided into concentric circles, with the difficulty and point value of the beasts increasing towards the core area, which he warns is an extra credit zone reserved only for the absolute top students. Filled with a newfound confidence, Zhu Jingming vows to himself that he will not just stick to the outer perimeter as he once planned, but will push into the inner circle and perhaps even the core. After receiving his standard-issue supplies, a smartwatch for tracking points, a tactical backpack, and a safety sphere, Zhu Jingming is approached by his classmate Lin Qingli, who invites him to join her team. Her teammates immediately object, complaining that they can't afford to carry dead weight when their team is already at the maximum of 5 people. As they argue, Zhu Jingming politely declines their offer, explaining that he plans to go in alone. After Lin Qingli wishes him luck, her teammate smugly remarks that he's glad Zhu Jingming knows his place. As the gates open and the examinees charge into the ruined city, drones activate to broadcast the event live 164. Zhu Jingming enters the exam zone, his resolve hardened. His smartwatch confirms his entry and displays the real-time rankings, with Zhu Minjiang already in first place with 7 points. Unfazed, Zhu Jingming decides to head straight for the core area to make up for lost time. His journey is cut short when he stumbles upon the gruesome corpse of a fellow student, a brutal reminder of the exam's lethality. As he kneels to use the deceased smartwatch to call for the logistics team, he senses movement and his eyes narrow. A shadowy, cat-like beast with glowing purple eyes emerges from the rubble, revealing that the dead student was nothing more than bait. The shadow cat lets out a ferocious snarl, lunging at Zhu Jingming with blinding speed. He easily sidesteps the attack, recognizing the beast as a classic newbie killer, known for its agility and bite force. He recalls hearing that most awakened people are paralyzed by the intimidating aura of fierce beasts, a problem wealthy families solve by hiring specialized trainers to acclimate their children from a young age. But for Zhu Jingming, this is his first true battle, and he feels no fear. He meets the beast's charge head-on, his spear flashing with purple lightning as he skewers it with a single, precise thrust. A system notification confirms the kill. One unranked shadow cat, worth 3 ability points, realizing that killing beasts grants points to strengthen himself, but that unranked creatures offer meager rewards. He decides to push deeper into the city. He cuts a bloody path through the outer perimeter, dispatching beast after beast with ease, but quickly grows dissatisfied. Using his S-Rank Thunder ability to instantly kill these weaklings provides no real combat experience. He resolves to rely solely on his spear technique to gain the experience he needs. But his plan is interrupted by the appearance of a massive armored rhinoceros charging down the street. The beast slams into a car, sending it flying, but Zhu Jingming remains calm. He leaps into the air, bringing his spear down in a powerful arc that cleanly decapitates the monster. Standing over the corpse, he marvels at how much faster his killing speed has become, wondering if his spear technique has broken through to the next level without him even realizing it. A quick check of his status confirms his suspicion. His spear technique is now at the intermediate level, and he has amassed 256 ability points. Intrigued by the potential of his new skill level, he decides to improve it further. As he pours points into the skill, countless advanced spear techniques flood his mind, a torrent of lethal knowledge that leaves him staggering. A predatory grin spreads across his face as he declares he can't wait to test his new and improved skills on a first-rank fierce beast. Meanwhile, Lin Qingli's team is making their way through the city when she thinks she spots Zhu Jingming in the distance. Her teammates dismiss it as a hallucination, arguing that it would be suicide for someone with his strength to be in this area. As Lin Qingli begins to doubt herself, they stumble upon the fresh corpse of the rhinoceros. They immediately notice the fatal wound on its head was caused by a long-handled weapon, a spear. The realization hits Lin Qingli like a lightning bolt. The person she saw must have been Zhu Jingming. Her teammates scoff at the idea that he could kill a beast that requires a C-rank awakened to take down alone. But their doubts are shattered when Lin Qingli checks the rankings. Zhu Jingming is in 46th place with 256 points, a fact that leaves them utterly speechless. Back at the command center, the Education Bureau Director, Zhang Wenxin, praises the principal of First High for his school's dominance, with their students, especially Zhu Minjiang, taking over the top 10 spots. He then condescendingly tells the principal of Second High, Zhao Yao, that his school needs to work harder, as their best student is only ranked 18th. As the humiliated principal grits his teeth, his colleague suddenly points out a name he's never seen before, Zhu Jingming. The homeroom teacher, Chen Fan, is equally shocked to see his supposedly weak student's name on the leaderboard, wondering if the boy had been hiding his true strength all along. He immediately orders the staff to pull up the live footage of Zhu Jingming. At that moment, Zhu Jingming has reached the central area, a high-danger zone. He takes a moment to eat an energy bar, noting that the ranked beasts here are far more territorial and difficult to deal with than the unranked ones. Suddenly, his senses flare, and a massive first-rank arm-blade tiger bursts from the surrounding wreckage, a perfect opponent for him to test his newly mastered spear techniques on. The arm-blade tiger roars, swiping at Zhu Jingming with its razor-sharp claws. He effortlessly dodges the attack, a confident smirk playing on his lips as he finds the first-tier beast's power underwhelming. Declaring it's time to end things, he meets the tiger's next lunge with a flurry of spear thrusts, each strike precise and deadly. The beast howls in pain, but its eyes glow with fury as it rises onto its hind legs for a final, desperate attack. Zhu Jingming notes its tenacious vitality but remains unimpressed, remarking that its struggle is futile. He gathers his energy, his spear crackling with purple lightning, and unleashes a devastating final blow that tears through the beast, ending its life in a spray of blood. With the kill confirmed and another 14 ability points gained, he reflects that the exam hall, so dangerous to others, is a treasure ground for him to level up. He vows to harvest as many points as possible before the opportunity is gone. Back at the command center, the teachers and officials are in an uproar. The rankings show Zhu Jingming tied for 32nd place, and his homeroom teacher, Chen Fan, is mobbed by his colleagues, all desperate to know the secret behind his student's sudden rise. Just then, someone shouts that Zhu Jingming's ranking has jumped again, this time to 25th place, having gained 44 points at once. The officials are baffled, calculating that he must have killed multiple first-tier beasts within seconds. When questioned, a flustered Chen Fan admits that he knows nothing, revealing that Zhu Jingming was supposedly an E-rank awakened, whom he had advised not to even take the exam. The director, Zhang Wenxin, becomes even more curious, concluding that Zhu Jingming must possess other outstanding qualities to have come this far. With a confident smile, he declares that at this rate, the boy will soon break into the top 10. His prediction comes true moments later as the leaderboard updates again. Zhu Jingming is now ranked 9th. His sudden appearance in the top ranks doesn't go unnoticed by the other top contenders. His own cousin, Tang Kai, now ranked 12th, isn't surprised, realizing he was the one who caused the commotion at the training hall. The #1 student, Zhu Minjiang, is intrigued by this new dark horse he's never heard of. Meanwhile, Zhu Jingming is being tailed by a camera drone, a sign that he's entered the top 10. He coolly dispatches another beast, thinking to himself that the top 10 is just the beginning. Checking his status, he sees he has accumulated 312 ability points, and that his spear technique is now advanced. Deciding to boost his basic attributes once more, he pours points into his physique and spirit. His hunt for more points leads him to the core area, the most dangerous zone of the exam site, where he discovers a pack of 9 armored tigers feasting on a massive carcass. He immediately identifies their leader, the Armored Tiger King, a first-tier mid-grade beast, and grins, seeing a great harvest ahead. As he prepares to attack, he senses another presence and calls out, telling the hidden person to show themselves. It's Zhu Minjiang, who explains that he'd been watching the pack for a while and guessed that the new face in the top 10 would eventually show up. He proposes they cooperate to take down the pack, warning that even a strong individual can't handle a first-tier mid-grade beast and its 9 subordinates alone. But Zhu Jingming scoffs at the offer, his eyes blazing with confidence as he declares that he's more than enough by himself. Wreathed in crackling purple energy, Zhu Jingming grips his spear, his eyes glowing with predatory intent as he prepares to unleash chaos. He steps into a hole already littered with the bloody remains of monstrous tigers, facing down the survivors. The beasts snarl, their fangs bared, ready to coordinate an attack. An observer hiding in the shadows, Zhu Minjiang, notes that these arm-blade tigers are led by a fierce king and possess the intelligence to use formations. As the pack lunges forward with a furious roar, he scoffs, wondering if this newcomer is just walking to his death, or if he truly has something special. Zhu Jingming stands his ground, his gaze cold and unwavering. In a blur of motion, he spins his spear, becoming a whirlwind of destruction that slices through the charging beasts. His weapon easily parries their razor-sharp claws and carves through their bodies, leaving a trail of blood and death in his wake. System messages flash before his eyes, confirming his kills and awarding him ability points for each fallen tiger. The pack's leader, a massive tiger with a fiery red mane, watches as its minions are slaughtered. Zhu Jingming calmly assesses the situation, noting that his physical strength is still a bit lacking since he couldn't kill them all in one go. Enraged, the Beast King lets out a deafening roar that shatters every window in the vicinity, a shockwave of sound that forces even Zhu Minjiang to cover his ears in pain. But Zhu Jingming is completely unfazed, smirking as he says that while the beast might scare others, it can't scare him. He dashes forward, meeting the lunging beast head-on in a chaotic clash of speed and power. With a final piercing strike, he impales the Beast King, ending the fight decisively. A system notification confirms he's killed a First Order, upper rank arm blade tiger, gaining 20 ability points. Zhu Minjiang emerges from his hiding spot, utterly stunned, unable to comprehend how anyone could take care of an entire pack so easily, and wondering what kind of monster Zhu Jingaming is. Pleased with his huge harvest of ability points, Zhu Jingaming decides he should hurry and look for the next beast group. Zhu Minjiang rushes forward, demanding to know how he crushed the tigers with just a long spear, and asking if his ability is a reinforcement type. With a flash of lightning, Zhu Jingaming leaps away onto a rooftop, cryptically calling back that he's a lightning type. Left behind, Zhu Minjiang clenches his fist in fury, convinced Zhu Jingaming is just being dismissive and calling him an awful person. His anger turns to shock as a holographic leaderboard appears, showing Zhu Jingaming has now claimed the #1 spot with 1,122 points, completely eclipsing his own score. Meanwhile, in a remote viewing room, school and city officials erupt in celebration, declaring Zhu Jingaming a genuine genius who has mastered king-level spearmanship at only 18. The director beams, confident that with Zhu Jingaming, their city will finally get into the top 100 in the province, promising his school a commendation. 3 hours later, Zhu Minjiang wanders the core zone, puzzled by the complete absence of fierce beasts. He soon encounters a group of other top candidates, including Wu Hao, Tang Kai, and Meng Dai, and asks why they're all together. They tell him that Zhu Jingaming killed every last beast in the core zone, leaving them with no choice but to team up. Zhu Minjiang calls it impossible, but they point him to the scoreboard, which now shows Zhu Jingaming's score, a staggering 3,435 points. They explain that after subtracting his earlier points, he must have killed almost 200 fierce beasts in the core zone all by himself. Zhu Minjiang is speechless, finally understanding that Zhu Jingaming had planned to monopolize all the kills from the very beginning. The group then invites him to join them for a final push into the innermost core zone, a place so dangerous that even a second-order beast king resides there. Far away, sitting atop a mountain of monster corpses under the night sky, Zhu Jingaming takes a moment to rest. He notes that his supplies are gone and the exam is ending, but he needs more points and must go deeper. He pulls up his status screen, which shows he has 2,413 ability points ready to be spent. With a sinister grin, he decides to invest them all into this. A surge of power flows through him, and he declares that with this, he should be able to handle the combat exam's finale. As the final sprint begins and the other students venture into the last zone, they are met by a colossal, crystal-embedded ape-like monster. Zhu Jingaming stands ready, calmly wondering what kind of second-order beast he is about to face. As the group of top students arrives, they are greeted by the sight of a colossal, crystal-studded beast, which they identify with horror as a bloodthirsty savage bear. Panic sets in as they realize the creature's hide is as strong as E-grade alloy, and a single strike from its paw could wipe them all out. One of the students, Tang Kai, loses her nerve and suggests they abandon the mission entirely, pointing out that even the horde of first-level high-rank beasts surrounding the bear would be enough to annihilate them. She declares that she's quitting, seeing no point in risking her life for a score, while Zhu Minjiang laments that rushing into such a horde is just looking for death. Just as their resolve crumbles, another figure appears, leaping down from the rooftops. They recognize the newcomer as Zhu Jingaming. His sudden arrival startles the entire horde of ferocious beasts, causing them to swarm towards him. He dances through their initial attacks, a blur of motion under the crescent moon, before being completely engulfed by the monstrous tide. The onlookers are horrified. Some believe his recklessness will be his end, but Tang Kai insists she has to help him. The others hold her back, calling it a pointless death, but she tearfully reveals that Zhu Jingaming is her cousin, and she can't just stand by and watch him die. Suddenly, a cataclysmic explosion of purple lightning erupts from the center of the horde, unleashing a blinding storm that engulfs the entire street. When the light fades, Zhu Jingaming stands unscathed amidst the charred remains of the beasts. He smirks, remarking to himself on the truly overbearing and powerful nature of an S-grade superpower. Now only the massive bloodthirsty savage bear remains, and it glares down at him with pure rage. Zhu Jingaming notes the smaller minions still clinging to the Beast King, deciding to clear the area first. He moves like a phantom, his spear a whirlwind of death that effortlessly tears through the remaining lesser creatures. The Bear King swipes at him in a fury, its massive paw crashing into the ground where he just stood. But Zhu Jingaming is already gone, leaping onto its back and continuing his slaughter. He darts around the battlefield, his lightning-infused spear striking down beast after beast, until the ground is littered with their corpses. The Bear King roars in frustration as its minions are picked off one by one. Zhu Jingaming taunts the beast, asking if it's getting angry and telling it not to be impatient, as he'll come for it after he's taken care of the last one. The bear claps its paws together in a thunderous shockwave, but Zhu Jingaming easily evades the attack, flipping through the air and driving his spear deep into the monster's flesh. With a manic grin, wreathed in crackling thunder, he declares that with no more minions to interfere, it's time to see if the beast's armored fur can truly withstand the force of his lightning. Zhu Jingaming channels a torrent of lightning down his spear, driving it into the colossal beast. The raw power of the attack shorts out the observation drones, forcing the other students to shield their eyes from the blinding flash. In the control room, the officials are stunned as they witness the spectacle on the main screen. Director Zhang explodes in disbelief, demanding to know how Principal Zhao could possibly have classified this as an E-class ability. Another official remarks that just by activating his power, Zhu Jingaming could instantly kill a high-tier rank 1 beast and even fight a rank 2 boss, something even an A-class ability would struggle with. The principal, sweating, can only guess that it must be an ability mutation, while Director Zhang declares that no matter what it is, Zhu Jingaming's name will shake the entire Great Xia after today. Back on the battlefield, the bear roars, but Zhu Jingaming is shocked to see his powerful attack only left a superficial wound. He somersaults away, narrowly dodging a counterattack, realizing the beast's fur is like an insulator that doesn't conduct electricity. Enraged, the bear summons a dark, shadowy energy around itself. Before unleashing a powerful charge, Zhu Jingaming is forced on the defensive, remarking that the bear truly hates him as it has already activated its berserk skill. Now even stronger, the beast's charge is unstoppable, its physical strength enhanced to an astonishing degree. Zhu Jingaming realizes that in its berserk state, the creature has lost its limited intelligence and now acts purely on instinct, making a head-on clash inadvisable. He opts to dodge and weave, waiting for an opportunity. He finds his opening, unleashing a vortex of lightning that envelops the charging beast. He then raises his hands to the sky, gathering a massive amount of energy, and with a roar, commands it to blast his opponent. A colossal storm of purple lightning descends from the heavens, engulfing the bear in an inescapable cage of pure energy. After a full 30 seconds, the lightning subsides, revealing the smoking, defeated form of the beast. Zhu Jingaming smirks, confident that even the thickest defense couldn't withstand such an onslaught. The bear lets out one final, agonizing roar before a system message confirms its paralysis. With a chilling smile, Zhu Jingaming declares that it's time. He gathers his remaining energy and unleashes his ultimate technique, Lightning Gale Break. A massive, swirling vortex of wind and electricity tears through the paralyzed beast, ripping it to shreds and leaving a crater in its wake. A final system notification confirms he has defeated the rank 2, low-tier bloodthirsty violent bear, earning 240 ability points. Kneeling to catch his breath, Zhu Jingaming reflects that to deal with this opponent, he had to upgrade his Lightning Gale skill, and the power did not disappoint. Though the fight was short, he feels it was the most exhilarating battle he's ever experienced. Back in the viewing room, the final scores flash on screen, showing Zhu Jingaming with over 10,000 points, causing the crowd to erupt in disbelief. The officials note that last year's provincial champion only scored 8,000, meaning Zhu Jingaming has practically pre-booked this year's title. Standing amidst a sea of defeated beasts, Zhu Jingaming notes that there isn't much time left. Having wiped out every creature in the inner circle and core area, he decides to head back to the central zone to finish off the rest. The other students watch in awe as he casually walks past them, completely stunned that he actually killed a Tier 2 Beast King. They wonder why he isn't ending the exam early despite his massive lead, when one of them realizes with dawning horror that he intends to clear out every single remaining beast. The thought galvanizes them into action. Zhu Minjiang rallies the group, realizing that with Zhu Jingaming's speed, they'll be lucky to score a single point in the last hour if they don't hurry. Their temporary alliance shatters as they all scramble for leftover points. Shortly after, a drone broadcasts an announcement that the exam has concluded, leaving some students jubilant and others in despair. Zhu Jingaming himself is slightly disappointed, feeling he wasn't quite satisfied yet. As the candidates exit the venue, a crowd of onlookers swarms towards them, all clamoring for a glimpse of the new champion. Zhu Jingaming calmly navigates the chaos, ignoring the desperate pleas and congratulations. He is approached by his principal and Director Zhao from the Education Bureau, who informs him that he won't be taking the bus back, as the director wants to give him a ride personally. Zhu Jingming readily agrees, seeing it as a perfect escape from the impending barrage of questions. In the director's car, he's asked which superpower university he plans to attend. He admits he hasn't thought about it, having been focused solely on improving his strength. Director Zhao explains that with his results, any university is within his reach, but highly recommends the top three: Qingjing, Madu, and Jincheng, all of which possess top-tier cultivation methods. The director elaborates that while a beginner-level training method might take an awakener 3 to 4 years to become a superpower user, a top-tier method can achieve the same result in just half a year. He assures Zhu Jingming that with his score, he will qualify for special admission and receive favorable offers from all three. Later that night, while relaxing in the bath, Zhu Jingming checks his status, noting his 2,534 ability points should be more than enough to enter a top university. He wonders if there will be more beast-killing competitions in the future. Otherwise, he'll have to consider venturing into the wilderness area. His thoughts are interrupted when he hears his broken door creak open. His aunt, Zhu Qingwen, and his cousin, Tang Kai, enter to surprise him, only to find him fresh out of the shower, wearing only a towel. After the initial shock and chaos subside, his aunt expresses her relief that he is unharmed, admitting she was worried about him taking the exam. Thinking he might not have passed, she tells him his score isn't important. Tang Kai slyly suggests he tell his mother the results himself, prompting Zhu Jingming to proudly announce he scored over 10,000 points. The news is so shocking his aunt does a spit take with her drink, and it takes both him and his cousin to convince her it's true, leading to a tearful, proud embrace. Meanwhile, in a high-level meeting room, university recruiters are in a heated debate over Zhu Jingming's file, which lists him as having a weak E-class ability. They find it impossible for someone with his registered talent to achieve such a score, with some speculating he cheated. One recruiter points out that his battle performance clearly shows power of at least A-class, maybe even S-class. A blindfolded woman silences the argument, slamming her hand on the table. She decides to list Zhu Jingming as an S-class special recruit for now, and declares she will personally go to Jiangcheng to investigate whether his score is genuine. The official results are released, and a text message confirms what Zhu Jingming already suspected. He has achieved first place in the Jiangnan province with a total score of 11,124 points. He celebrates his victory, knowing he is now the top scholar of the entire province. His achievement becomes a viral sensation, sparking online debates about the unprecedented awakened individual from the small city of Jiangcheng. His school holds a massive awards ceremony, besieged by reporters and cameras. Principal Zhao is bombarded with questions about the legitimacy of Zhu Jingming's results, to which he calmly replies that the school has already uploaded the full exam video for public verification, and that the fairness of the exam is beyond doubt. The reporters watching the footage are blown away by Zhu Jingming's power, marveling at how he could one-shot a Tier 1 monster, a feat beyond even a Tier 1 superhuman. Director Zhang proudly announces that Zhu's results are completely real, and as the first top scholar from their city, he is worthy of commendation. He then unveils a giant check for 1 million yuan, a cash reward from the City Education Bureau, along with a promise of an equivalent bonus and a luxury villa from the city government. Meanwhile, the investigator from the capital, Zhang Zheyu, watches from the sidelines, still skeptical. She muses that even with the video footage, it doesn't rule out the use of performance-enhancing drugs, and the most crucial thing is to confirm his superpower level. As the ceremony continues, the school officials wonder why the man of the hour hasn't arrived yet, only to be told he's still training at the gym and will be there soon. In a private room, the principal serves tea to 3 imposing figures, the admissions officers from the top 3 universities. The principal is intimidated by their powerful auras, realizing these are individuals hardened by countless real battles. The director of admissions from Madu University, Zhang Zheyu, breaks the silence, flanked by her rivals, Su Yun from Qingjing University and Wu Yuan from Jin City University. They immediately begin to bicker over who will recruit Zhu Jingming, with Su Yun and Wu Yuan both claiming him for their respective institutions. As their powers begin to clash, Zhu Jingming finally arrives, cutting the tension with a polite greeting. Director Zhang takes the lead, introducing herself and her colleagues before getting straight to the point. She acknowledges his strength, but questions why his superpower no longer seems to be the E-class ability he was registered with. Unfazed, Zhu Jingming calmly explains that he was struck by natural lightning while training, which caused his superpower to grow stronger. The recruiters immediately recognize this as a superpower mutation. Director Zhang then produces a superpower detection instrument, offering to test his mutated ability on the spot. Zhu Jingming agrees and channels his power into the device, unleashing a violent torrent of lightning that causes even the powerful recruiters to feel a flicker of fear. The small device is instantly overloaded and explodes, shorting out the lights in the room. The other recruiters grin, realizing this confirms his power is at least S-class. Director Zhang, however, is ecstatic, knowing they bet on the right person. A fierce bidding war erupts. Wu Yuan from Jin City offers a 4 million admission bonus and a set of C-class equipment, only to be scoffed at by Su Yun from Qingjing, who counters with a 6 million bonus. But Director Zhang silences them both. She states that Mada University doesn't offer bonuses or equipment, but will instead provide an S-class cultivation resource annually. The offer stuns her rivals and Zhu Jingming himself. She explains that an S-class resource is the heart-blood of an 8th-tier adult dragon-type fierce beast, a creature born at tier 4 or 5. Consuming it will grant a physique and strength comparable to that of a dragon type, a resource usually reserved only for top students. Knowing they can't compete, the other two recruiters concede defeat. With the offers on the table, Zhu Jingming makes his choice without hesitation. He chooses Madu Superpower University. Bowing respectfully, Zhu Jingming accepts the offer from Magic City Superpower University, thanking the recruiters for their consideration. Eager to get a head start, he asks for permission to study the library's training methods in advance, a request that is immediately granted. The teacher, Zhang, not only agrees, but also offers him an independent study room and hands over her contact card for his arrival. Clutching the glowing acceptance letter, Zhu Jingming's excitement is palpable. He can't wait to register. At the train station, an announcement for the G91 to Magic City rings out as his family sees him off. His uncle, Tang Daolin, proudly remarks that the child has finally grown up and is destined for greatness, then suggests his own daughter should also choose a university in Magic City so the cousins can support each other. On the long train ride, Zhu Jingming wastes no time, immersing himself in the superpower training manual. He discovers the methods are divided into 4 tiers: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and top tier, with each level offering a drastically faster training speed. Understanding the profound impact a high-level method has on a breakthrough, he studies with intense focus. Upon arriving, he is greeted by teacher Zhang, who pulls up in a sleek red sports car to personally handle his admission procedures. As they drive through the breathtakingly massive campus, she explains it covers 26 square kilometers, an area so large that visitors couldn't hope to tour it in a single day. Zhu Jingming is stunned, realizing that seeing it with his own eyes is far more impressive than any description. His amazement only grows when he's shown his dormitory, which turns out to be a luxurious modern villa. Teacher Zhang explains that all students live in villas with the quality determined by their scores, and as a top scorer, he gets one of the best. He'll share the massive residence with one roommate, each getting an entire floor to themselves, a comforting thought for the formerly solitary orphan. Inside, Zhang explains the university's 2 core tenets: the credit system and the exclusive mentor system. Credits are the lifeblood of the university, used for everything from meals to priceless treasures, with a single credit being worth 10,000 Daxia currency. A small floating AI sphere named Eva materializes, announcing that 100 credits have been deposited into his account. Zhu Jingming is shocked to learn that this is merely a level 4 AI subunit, a testament to the school's advanced technology. Next, she details the exclusive mentor system, where students can ask high-level superpowered individuals on staff to become their personal teachers, provided the mentor agrees. She highly recommends Yang Zhenshin, the dean of the Weaponry Academy and a master of the lightning element and the spear, a perfect fit for Zhu Jingming. After reviewing the profiles on a holographic screen, Zhu Jingming grins, agreeing that Dean Yang is his ideal choice. He arrives at the dean's residence, an imposing and traditional estate that feels more like a sacred sect than a professor's home. There he meets a junior student, Tan Minjiang, who is also waiting to seek mentorship. Tan is surprised to find a specially recruited freshman who is still at the awakened level trying to approach the dean directly. He explains that most freshmen only get noticed after the annual freshman competition, where top performers are scouted. He warns Zhu Jingming that trying to become the dean's disciple so early is like trying to win the lottery, revealing that he himself has been turned away for 6 straight months. Just as Tan is expressing his dejection, the massive doors creak open. A butler appears and, to Tan's utter disbelief, warmly welcomes them both inside, stating that teacher Yang is waiting. Stunned and hopeful, Tan follows, wondering if this is finally his chance. They enter to find the powerful, bearded Dean Yang seated before them. The dean's intense gaze falls squarely on Zhu Jingming, completely ignoring Tan, as he states that Director Zhang had already informed him of his arrival, and immediately invites him to the training room. Dean Yang states that he has seen the college entrance exam footage and is impressed by Zhu Jingming's skills, but he demands to witness the S-rank ability, the Purple Heaven Divine Thunder, with his own eyes. Zhu Jingming complies, focusing his energy as crackling purple lightning erupts from his body, filling the training room with an overwhelming pressure. The dean, though surrounded by the volatile energy, is impressed by its potential and formally accepts Zhu Jingming as his disciple. However, he gives a stern warning. His life has been filled with conflict, and becoming his disciple means inheriting his many enemies, who might not hesitate to attack a promising new student. Unfazed, Zhu Jingming bows respectfully and declares his willingness, expressing his admiration for powerful individuals forged in struggle and asserting that a long list of enemies is merely proof of a master's strength. Delighted by this response, Dean Yang roars with laughter, proclaiming Zhu Jingming his 32nd disciple, and more importantly, his very first S-rank one. As a welcoming gift, he materializes 2 glowing manuals, presenting Zhu Jingming with a top-tier ability training method and his own self-created body-tempering combat technique, the Thunder Indestructible Body. Zhu Jingming is stunned by the gift's value, realizing a body-tempering technique is infinitely more precious than a simple combat skill. Dean Yang explains that the Thunder Indestructible Body is his life's work, an S-rank combat technique officially certified by the most prestigious martial arts halls in the land. Zhu Jingming's mind reels at the revelation. It's one thing to learn a high-level technique, but to know his master actually created one of such complexity is on another level entirely. The dean specifies that the technique is only usable by lightning element users and has 13 levels. But to even begin, Zhu Jingming must first officially become a Tier 1 ability user. He instructs him to go cultivate and return only after he has achieved his breakthrough, at which point he will personally help forge the foundation of the Thunder Indestructible Body. As Zhu Jingming leaves, gratefully bowing to his new master, he passes the dejected Tan Minjiang, who is sitting on the steps, bruised and defeated. Tan miserably explains that the dean's apprenticeship test requires him to defeat a senior disciple who is only using 1/10 of his power, a feat he believes is impossible in this lifetime. Assuming Zhu Jingming also failed, he offers some advice, only to be left in utter shock when Zhu Jingming calmly informs him that he has already passed and is now the dean's disciple. Back in the privacy of his dorm's training room, Zhu Jingming sits in meditation, realizing he has a shortcut no one could ever imagine. With a top-tier training manual from his master and his system, he has no need for months of arduous practice. He pulls up his status panel and, without hesitation, commands the system to add points and increase his level. A violent surge of energy explodes from within him, the breakthrough process beginning instantly and painfully as he grits his teeth against the agonizing transformation. The room is engulfed in a maelstrom of power, and when it subsides, he has successfully advanced to a first-tier, lower-rank ability user. He clenches his fist, feeling his strength has multiplied several times. A quick glance at his stats confirming his vitality and spirit have increased by nearly 100 points, an immense leap far beyond what his old method could have provided. The next day, he returns to the dean's residence. Dean Yang is utterly dumbfounded, exclaiming that it's been less than 24 hours, a speed unheard of even among the greatest geniuses he's ever taught. Impressed beyond words, the dean decides to proceed immediately, revealing that he leveraged Zhu Jingming's annual S-rank resource allowance and pleaded with the principal to acquire an SS-rank treasure for him, the essence blood of an 8th-tier Thunder Tyrannosaurus. Overwhelmed by such generosity, Zhu Jingming vows to repay this kindness in the future. With no time to waste, Dean Yang pours the viscous, crimson blood over Zhu Jingming's bare skin. He warns his new disciple to bear the excruciating pain, as the blood is highly toxic to low-level users. Then, gathering his own power, the Dean unleashes his Ming Fire True Thunder, a volatile red lightning, and strikes Zhu Jingaming's body to forge the foundation of the indestructible physique. Engulfed in searing energy, Zhu Jingaming throws his head back and lets out a raw scream as unimaginable pain courses through his every cell, his veins bulging like crimson wires under his skin. 5 days pass, and one of Dean Yang's senior disciples, Liu Ming, remarks on Zhu Jingaming's incredible resilience during the brutal forging process. He admits to feeling a pang of jealousy. He only lasted 2 days when he underwent the same ritual, and that was with the essence blood of a much weaker, 7th-tier beast. A sudden crash from upstairs startles them both, and Liu Ming rushes up the stairs, wondering if his junior's foundation has finally been forged. Peeking into the room, he's met with a terrifying sight. Zhu Jingaming, his eyes glowing with a demonic red light, is surrounded by a whirlwind of violent, dark energy. Dean Yang roars for his disciple to wake up, snapping him out of the berserk state just as he's about to attack Liu Ming. Dazed and sweating, Zhu Jingaming clutches his head, confused about the sudden, overwhelming urge for destruction that had just consumed him. The Dean explains that the Thunder Tyrannosaurus's ferocious nature had temporarily influenced his mind, a side effect amplified by his unusually high absorption rate. He reassures him that the effects will fade as his strength grows, and Zhu Jingaming is relieved, wanting to remain in control of his own emotions. Dean Yang then joyfully announces that the forging was a perfect success, with an unprecedented absorption rate of 98%, shattering a long-standing record. He formally introduces Liu Ming as his senior disciple, a peak 3rd-tier ability user who can answer any questions about cultivation. As a welcoming gift, Liu Ming transfers a generous 200 credits to Zhu Jingaming's account, who is taken aback by the amount. With the 5-day ordeal over, the Dean dismisses him to rest, instructing him to return the next morning to learn fist and spear techniques from Liu Ming. Back at his dorm, Zhu Jingaming finds his new roommate, Liu Wentao, playing video games. The boisterous, white-haired boy introduces himself, instantly recognizing Zhu Jingaming as the top scorer from Jiangnan province. He proudly calls himself Mr. Know-it-all, claiming to know about most of the freshman class and bombarding Zhu Jingaming with questions about his background and his seemingly low-rank ability. Despite the chatter, Zhu Jingaming finds himself warming to the friendly atmosphere, a welcome change from the loneliness that has plagued him in both his past and present lives. He reflects on his previous life as an orphan who was never adopted, finding solace only in the camaraderie of his college roommates before an untimely death brought him to this new world. Liu Wentao's cheerful presence makes him feel that perhaps this time he won't be so alone. Eager for more action, Liu Wentao announces he's heading to the martial arts hall, and Zhu Jingaming decides to join him. They arrive at the massive, bustling Thunder Martial Arts Hall branch on campus, where the air is thick with energy as students train and spar. The main hall is a cavernous space made of C-rank alloy, capable of withstanding any attack. Liu Wentao's excitement is contagious as he points out various powerful students. Zhu Jingaming's attention is drawn to 5 large pillars, which the AI Eva explains are Punch Power Challenge leaderboards, one for each of the 5 tiers of ability users. Getting into the top 3, 000 on any board earns a 50-credit reward. Thinking it sounds easy given the university's small student body, Liu Wentao eagerly swipes his ID to start the challenge. A crowd of upperclassmen gathers, amused to see a freshman attempt the challenge. With a determined yell, Liu Wentao unleashes a punch that registers at a respectable 476 kilograms. However, his confidence shatters when the system announces his rank is beyond 100. 000. Eva then cruelly clarifies that the leaderboard includes every student from the university's century-long history, not just the current ones. Humiliated and blushing, Liu Wentao becomes the butt of the upperclassmen's jokes. Zhu Jingaming consoles his new friend, reminding him that physical strength isn't his forte as a spiritual element user, and then steps up to take the challenge himself. As his name is announced, the onlookers murmur, some recognizing the name of the top scorer. After 5 grueling days of forging, Zhu Jingaming is eager to see the results of his new, powerful physique. He takes a deep breath, clenches his fist, and throws a punch that sends a shockwave through the air. The pillar registers an astounding punch power of 4,589 kilograms, shattering the old record. The entire hall is stunned into silence, the crowd erupting into disbelief as they realize a freshman has just achieved the impossible. Whispers spread like wildfire. The top 1,000 on the leaderboard are legendary figures, and this freshman has just claimed the #1 spot, breaking a record that stood for over a decade. Liu Wentao grabs Zhu Jingming in a celebratory frenzy, pledging his undying loyalty. A notification from Eva announces a 400 credit reward for breaking the record, prompting Zhu Jingming to cheekily ask if he can get more credits for breaking it again. Eva flatly informs him that the reward is a one-time deal per pillar. His accomplishment instantly makes him the center of attention, with a crowd of students, mostly female, swarming him with club invitations and admiration. Overwhelmed, Zhu Jingming grabs his roommate and makes a hasty retreat to a private training room. The news travels fast, reaching Dean Yang, who sips his tea while his senior disciple, Liu Ming, excitedly reports on the new campus hot topic. Meanwhile, in a lavish apartment, a young man seethes with rage, his fiery aura shattering a wine glass as he reads the news about Zhu Jingming. He clenches his fist, furious that Zhu Jingming has not only come to magic capital, but has also stolen the glory that he felt was rightfully his, vowing to take it all back. Back in the training room, Zhu Jingming tests the durability of his newly forged body, running a sharp blade across his palm without leaving so much as a scratch. His solitude is interrupted by Liu Wentao, who bursts in to announce that the campus forum is exploding with challengers eager to take on the new record holder. A smirk plays on Zhu Jingming's lips. He's pleased with the strong martial spirit of his new school. Deciding to make use of his newfound fame and resources, he brushes past his roommate and heads for the battle technique library. The library is an impressive, heavily fortified building, protected by powerful energy arrays that even a 9th-tier martial saint couldn't breach. As he scans his student ID, the librarians are immediately alerted to the presence of an S-grade authority holder. Realizing he's in the presence of someone with boundless potential, one of the librarians makes a mental note to befriend him. He asks for directions to the lightning element techniques and is guided to the 4th floor, reserved for the most precious manuals. In a private reading room, he instructs Eva to display all B-grade and above lightning techniques. Holographic screens fill the air, showcasing an incredible array of skills, including SS grade and even a legendary SSS grade technique. While he's currently only able to learn A-grade techniques, the sheer number of options is overwhelming. Thankfully, he has a recommendation list from his teacher, which helps him narrow down the choices. He carefully selects 4 A-grade techniques: Thunder Spear, Chain Thunder Gun, Thunder Flash, and Thunder Prison, covering long-range attacks, mobility, and crowd control. Eva warns him that mastering even one of these would typically take 6 months, but Zhu Jingming simply smiles, dismissing the need for conventional practice. After the manuals are delivered, he settles in and begins to read. Hours fly by as he absorbs the knowledge within the 4 books. Leaning back in his chair, he closes his eyes and calls upon his system, commanding it to add points and master the new skills. In an instant, 800 superpower points are consumed, and 4 notifications confirm that he has learned all 4 A-grade techniques to the elementary level. A glance at his updated status screen reveals his new arsenal, and with a confident smile, he wonders who will be the first unlucky person to taste their power. Returning to his dorm that night, Zhu Jingming is met by Liu Wentao, who informs him of the freshman assembly scheduled for the next morning. Curious, Liu Wentao asks what level of combat techniques Zhu Jingming chose, and his jaw drops when he hears he picked 4 A-rank skills, a feat that would normally take years to accomplish. This leads him to question Zhu Jingming's library access, correctly guessing he must have a high-level permission. Zhu Jingming calmly corrects him, revealing his permission is not a rank, but S-rank. Liu Wentao is utterly floored, realizing the online rumors about his roommate being an E-ranker were completely false. Zhu Jingming smirks, telling the self-proclaimed know-it-all that he's just learned one more thing. Realizing he's in the presence of a true prodigy, Liu Wentao's admiration skyrockets, declaring himself an early fan. Alone in his room, Zhu Jingming practices with a basic training spear, deciding he needs to upgrade his equipment. He asks Eva to open the school mall and show him gun-type weapons. After browsing the extensive, customizable selection, he purchases an E-rank long gun, combat suit, and boots for 237 credits, lamenting how quickly his funds are dwindling. The next day at the freshman assembly, Zhu Jingming is already a campus celebrity, with students whispering about the handsome freshman who shattered the school record. His quiet entrance is interrupted when a boisterous young man named Lei Zhu, the second-place scorer, loudly challenges him to a duel. Unimpressed, Zhu Jingming coolly declines, stating he's not interested. Lei Zhu refuses to take no for an answer, getting in his face and using his family's business connections to subtly threaten Zhu Jingming's own family. This veiled threat flips a switch in Zhu Jingming's mind. His eyes narrow, and an explosive, beast-like aura erupts from him, sending a palpable wave of pressure that forces Lei Zhu back a step. Stunned by the fierce killing intent, the challenger stammers that it was just a heads-up, not a threat. His bluff called, Zhu Jingming accepts the duel, telling Lei Zhu he'd better not regret it, and demanding a time and place. The match is set for 7 days later on broadcast platform 3, immediately creating a buzz among the students. The assembly begins, with a teacher explaining that the students will soon participate in a combat power ranking via holographic simulation, with generous rewards for top performers. Afterwards, Zhu Jingming ignores the chatter and heads straight to his master's residence for 7 days of intense training under the guidance of Dean Yang and his senior, Liu Ming. He pushes himself relentlessly, his body wreathed in purple lightning as he practices. 7 days later, Liu Ming is astounded to find that Zhu Jingming has already advanced to Tier 1 mid-level in such a short time. Reminding him of his match that noon, Liu Ming smirks and says he'll observe 3 minutes of silence for his opponent, eager to witness his junior's true strength. At the broadcast platform, the crowd is buzzing with anticipation for the clash between the top 2 scorers. Zhu Jingming makes his entrance, clad in his new combat gear and carrying his spear, looking every bit the formidable warrior. Lei Zhu, seeing his opponent's aura has grown even stronger, ups the ante by proposing a wager, all of their credits. Zhu Jingming agrees without hesitation, stating he has 370. To prevent either from backing out, they transfer their credits to the referee, Zhu Yun, a Tier 6 mid-level healer. With 7 million Daxia currency on the line, the atmosphere in the arena becomes electric. The referee confirms the transfer and lays down the rules. As the match begins, Lei Zhu unleashes his dense pine industry fire, vowing to reclaim his lost honor. He lunges forward with a powerful, raging flame slash, but Zhu Jingming effortlessly parries the attack with a simple, casual block. The crowd gasps in shock. A basic move just nullified a full-power combat technique. Lei Zhu grits his teeth in disbelief, unable to comprehend what just happened. With a cold, cutting glare, Zhu Jingming tells him that nothing is impossible. He is simply too weak. He then counters with a lightning-fast thrust, striking his opponent square in the chest. The lightning-infused spear pierces Lei Zhu's defense, sending him staggering back with a spray of blood. He collapses to the ground, defeated. The crowd is in an uproar, completely shocked that the match was over in just 2 hits, and that Zhu Jingming's strength so vastly outstripped his opponent's. Just as the referee is about to declare Zhu Jingming the winner, Lei Zhu struggles back to his feet, refusing to admit defeat. In a desperate move, he pulls out a small red pill. The referee immediately recognizes it as a blood fury pill, a dangerous concoction that boosts strength at a terrible cost, and yells at him for being willing to throw his life away over a simple match. The spectators agree, pointing out that risking such serious side effects right before the freshman tournament is incredibly foolish. Ignoring the warnings, Lei Zhu declares he'll accept any consequences and swallows the pill. As the crowd cries foul, the referee clarifies that since this is an unofficial match, any form of external support, including medication, is allowed. A monstrous, fiery aura explodes from Lei Zhu as he roars in a drug-fueled rage. Unfazed, Zhu Jingming's own fighting spirit intensifies, his body crackling with a more vigorous lightning than before. Finally feeling a real challenge, he activates his thunder flash, vanishing in a blur of electricity and reappearing right in front of his opponent at blinding speed. He unleashes a flurry of strikes, but Lei Zhu, empowered by the pill, manages to parry them, though the sheer force of the blows sends him stumbling back. Realizing he can't win a head-on clash, Lei Zhu creates distance and unleashes a barrage of fire attacks. Zhu Jingming counters with his own ranged assault, unleashing his thunder spear technique, which easily cuts through the flames. As a volley of lightning spears rains down on him, Lei Zhu scrambles to defend himself, but he can't stop them all. He's about to be impaled when Zhu Jingming suddenly materializes behind him and unleashes Thunder Prison. Trapped in a cage of crackling energy, Lei Zhu desperately erects a flame barrier, taunting that it's now a battle of attrition. Zhu Jingming simply smirks, wondering aloud how many shots the barrier can take. Before activating his chain thunder gun, he unleashes a relentless barrage of lightning-fast spear strikes that hammer against the flame shield, each blow stronger than the last. Facing the overwhelming assault, a wave of terror washes over Lei Zhu as he realizes death is imminent. He screams for the fight to stop, admitting defeat just as the final, decisive spear tip halts a hair's breadth from his eye. The spear had already pierced his shoulder, a clear sign that Zhu Jingming had diverted the fatal blow at the last possible second. The referee declares Zhu Jingming the winner, and the crowd erupts, awestruck by the sheer dominance and the seamless execution of 4 different combat techniques in mere seconds. His senior Liu Ming watches from the stands, stunned, realizing his junior mastered 4 A-rank techniques in just a week, a feat that took him 4 months for a single skill. Humbled, Lei Zhu thanks Zhu Jingming for sparing his life and promises to honor the bet. The referee confirms the transfer of 50 credits and 2 million Daxia currency, and Zhu Jingming reflects on how lucrative gambling duels can be. Liu Wentao excitedly suggests they celebrate his newfound wealth, but Zhu Jingming initially declines, citing more training. However, his senior brother, Liu Ming, encourages him to relax, and he agrees. As they leave, Liu Wentao reveals his grand plan for the evening, a male dormitory mixer event. Enjoying a night out, Liu Wentao proudly tells Zhu Jingming that his popularity has exploded. Boasting that over 100 people signed up for the mixer event, he posted on the campus forum. Amused by his roommate's enthusiasm, Zhu Jingming is curious about who he ended up choosing from such a large pool of applicants. Just then, Liu Wentao spots their dates arriving and eagerly waves them. A girl in a yellow dress named Kai Dongxia introduces herself, along with her roommate, the striking song Qian. Liu Wentao excitedly explains that Qian is the top scorer from Sichuan province and an A-rank nature-type ability user. Upon hearing Zhu Jingming's name, Qian's eyes light up, and she immediately challenges him to a spar. Her friend scolds her for being a battle maniac during a mixer, but Qian bluntly states that sparring with the famous Zhu Jingming was the only reason she came. Smoothing things over, Zhu Jingming invites them to sit and eat first, and the 4 of them enjoy a meal before heading out to the lively central shopping district. As they browse the high-end shops filled with powerful weapons and elixirs, Zhu Jingming is impressed by the stark difference in resources compared to his hometown. Throughout the evening, he finds himself carrying an ever-growing mountain of shopping bags, shocked to learn that the simply dressed Song Qian had just spent several million. Liu Wentao whispers that her background is just as amazing as her wealth. As they part ways for the night, Qian stops and seriously reiterates her desire for a future duel. Zhu Jingming calmly agrees, telling her he'll be waiting. Later, Qian's friend teases her for being uncharacteristically kind to a guy, but Qian reflects on what made him different. Thanks to her A-rank perception ability, she can sense the impure thoughts of others, a constant barrage of lewd gazes and fantasies. Yet in Zhu Jingming's eyes, she saw only genuine appreciation, not a hint of lust, marking him as someone truly special. Walking back to the dorm, Zhu Jingming thinks about Qian's power, a first-tier upper rank, and feels a renewed drive to keep pushing himself. 15 days later, after intense training, he sits in his dorm and once again calls on his system to advance. A surge of power envelops him as he breaks through to first-tier upper rank and advances his Thunder Immortal body to the 2nd stage. The upgrade unlocks a new special state called Thunder Extreme Mode, but he laments being nearly out of ability points to explore it. He immediately reports his progress to his master, who is utterly speechless at his disciple's monstrous growth rate. Liu Ming, who took over half a year to make the same jump, can only call his junior a monster. To test his new strength, Dean Yang orders a spar between his 2 disciples. Liu Ming agrees to suppress his power to a 2nd-tier lower level to make it a fair fight. The moment the match begins, the 2 clash in a blinding storm of purple and green lightning, their power seemingly equal. Thrilled to finally face an even match, Zhu Jingming uses the same combo he used on Lei Zhu, trapping his senior in a thunder prison, before unleashing his chain lightning spear. But Liu Ming is no freshman. He smirks, recognizing the move, and effortlessly shatters the attack with his own A-rank ability, Jade Pivot True Thunder. The battle rages on, but 20 minutes later, an exhausted Zhu Jingming leans on his spear, admitting defeat after completely running out of energy. Dean Yang praises the brilliant fight, amazed that Zhu Jingming could match his senior so evenly. that the victor was decided by attrition. Liu Ming then reveals the true extent of his junior strength. He had just fought on par with someone who is considered invincible among all second-tier users. After a grueling training session, Dean Yang calls for a break, and a servant brings out fatigue-dispelling spirit fruits. Seizing the opportunity, Zhu Jingming asks his master for permission to leave the school and venture into the wilderness zone. He plans to be gone for just over a month, returning before the freshman competition. The dean warns him of the extreme dangers, but ultimately agrees, believing that true strength is forged through life-and-death crises. Grateful, Zhu Jingming thanks his teacher. He specifies his destination as the wilderness zone near Yuanshui City, a relatively safe area where the highest-level beasts are only 4th or 5th rank. As a parting gift, Dean Yang pulls a magnificent spear from his storage ring, presenting it to his disciple as a more suitable weapon for the dangers ahead. Back in his dorm, Zhu Jingming prepares for his journey and opens the school's mission system on Eva's advice. He browses the list of tasks, which range from collecting materials to hunting fugitives, noting that all the high-credit missions involve intense combat, the university's brutal but effective training model. He accepts an A-rank mission and 3 B-rank ones before setting off. He arrives at the bustling Yuanshui City supply base, a hub for adventurers and mercenaries shouting out recruitment calls. He enters the Adventurers Guild to register, presenting his Magic City student ID to the receptionist. As he waits for his new adventure card, a stir goes through the hall. The famous online personality and Magic City sophomore, Jiang Chukshuan, has arrived with her film crew, preparing to shoot another one of her popular Wilderness Zone videos. While the men in the guild fawn over the goddess, Zhu Jingming is handed his new card and a satellite smartwatch equipped with a detailed map of the wilderness. As he heads for the exit, a shady man corners him, offering to sell him cheap healing and antitoxin pills. Zhu Jingming calmly asks for the prices. The man, a known scammer named Zhao Chunlin, quotes suspiciously low prices, a common trick used on unsuspecting newbies. Seeing through the scam, Zhu Jingming coldly calls him out, asking how many newcomers he's tricked. The scammer's demeanor instantly shifts, and he gets aggressive. But his intimidation is cut short when a woman named Wang Kaiyan intervenes, calling him out for scamming people again. Forced to back down, Zhao Chunlin sneers at Zhu Jingming, warning him not to leave the supply base or he'll regret it. Wang Kaiyan kindly advises him to be careful, explaining that Zhao has black market connections and is known for holding grudges. Ignoring the warnings, Zhu Jingming heads to the official shops to stock up on supplies. Before leaving the base, sure enough, Zhao Chunlin and his cronies are waiting for him outside, furious that he dared to defy them. Zhao vows to break his legs and leave him in a wheelchair. Wang Kaiyan rushes to help, but her friend holds her back, saying the reckless newbie needs to learn a lesson. Zhao activates his C-rank metallized skin ability, confident that his defense is unbreakable. As he's monologuing, Zhu Jingming, wreathed in purple lightning, snaps at him to shut up. In a flash of lightning, he uses Thunder Flash, instantly closing the distance between them and appearing right in front of the stunned scammer. With a torrent of crackling purple energy, Zhu Jingming unleashes his power, delivering a single devastating kick that sends a man named Zhao Chunlin flying through the air in a spray of blood. The man crashes into the pavement with bone-shattering force, his body broken and limp. Onlookers are stunned into silence, a woman with short black hair gasping in shock at the brutal display. Without a backward glance, Zhu Jingming calmly walks away from the scene, leaving a trail of debris and terrified witnesses in his wake. The crowd erupts in whispers, marveling at the instant kill, and noting that Zhao Chunlin had picked a fight with the wrong person. A woman explains to her shocked captain that it was a whip kick which completely shattered the man's pelvis, crippling him for life. The captain identifies Zhu Jingming as a student from the prestigious Madu Superpower University by his exclusive battle suit, remarking on his incredible strength and ruthlessness. The first woman, Zhao Kaiyan, impulsively suggests recruiting the powerful stranger for their all-female squad, only for her teammate to remind her of their founding rule. The others playfully tease her, admitting the young man is handsome enough to be an exception, much to her embarrassment. Having left the city, Zhu Jingming accesses a terminal to find a suitable hunting ground in the Yuanshui wildlands. He speeds through the dense forest, pausing only when he hears the roars of powerful beasts nearby. He identifies a flock of birds as 4th-rank beasts, but dismisses them, as his true target lies elsewhere. His watch projects a holographic map, suggesting he start with the weaker beasts in the ruined Ping'an County town to harvest ability points. The map shows a large area teeming with second-rank beasts, a perfect training ground. Declaring the town his destination, he dashes off with incredible speed. Arriving in the abandoned streets moments later, he is immediately confronted by a second-rank shadow cat, which he views as nothing more than ability points on a silver platter. He clutches his chest as the negative emotions from the Thunder Tyrannosaur surge within him, a craving for slaughter that grows stronger the more he tries to suppress it. A vicious grin spreads across his face as he decides that in this lawless place, he no longer needs to hold back, a decision that fills the tiny shadow cat with utter terror. Elsewhere in the town, a squad of adventurers complains to their captain about the eerie lack of feral beasts. The captain is equally baffled, knowing there should be hundreds of monsters in the area. Their search finally ends when an arm-blade tiger appears, and the captain eagerly orders his men to attack it. But before they can move, a blinding bolt of purple lightning streaks from the sky and vaporizes the tiger in a massive explosion. The men are stunned, with their captain realizing it was a powerful lightning skill and a warning shot. He orders an immediate retreat, understanding that a formidable warrior has claimed this territory. His terrified squad flees, not wanting to provoke the unseen powerhouse. Perched on a rooftop, Zhu Jingming watches them go, having gained another 15 ability points and confirmed his lightning spear's 1,000-meter range. Over the next month, he amasses over 8,000 ability points, pushing his Thunder's immortal body to the 3rd stage and achieving upper second-rank status, a feat of training he believes is unmatched. His hunt complete, he decides to return to the Yuanshui supply base to resupply. He arrives with a ridiculously overstuffed backpack, drawing mockery from onlookers who assume he's foolishly carrying worthless beast flesh. At the sales counter, the receptionist is stunned when he opens his bag, revealing a mountain of priceless beast materials. She recognizes rare essences like tiger sinew and rhino horn, and is so overwhelmed by the sheer quantity, she has to call for the manager. The procurement manager, Zhao Yi, arrives and is thoroughly impressed, shaking Zhu Jingming's hand and praising his talent, while his staff uses advanced scanners to inventory the massive haul. Manager Zhao offers Zhu Jingming a platinum membership card to secure his future business. The final tally is astounding, with hundreds of high-quality materials from second-rank beasts, making Zhao Yi wonder if he cleared out an entire lair. The total value comes to over 24 million, which Zhao Yi generously rounds up to 25 million. Zhu Jingming checks his phone, his balance now a satisfying 29 million. As he leaves, the manager gives him his personal business card, watching the young man go and thinking he has an unlimited future. Just then his phone rings. It's Zhao Chunlin, the man Zhu Jingming crippled. Screaming from his hospital bed, he demands revenge, telling manager Zhao to send the Tiger Shark squad to make Zhu Jingming suffer a fate worse than death. Zhao Yi coldly agrees to lend the squad, but severs all ties with him afterward. After hanging up, Zhao Yi feels a flicker of unease but dismisses it, wrongly assuming his elite second-rank squad will have no trouble with what he believes is just an upper first-rank kid. Miles away, Zhu Jingming suddenly sneezes, wondering if someone was just speaking ill of him. Unaware of the storm brewing in his wake, Zhu Jingming casually wields his power. While manager Zhao Yi is on the phone with his superior, a man named Wang, discussing the promising young talent. After hanging up, Zhao Yi realizes old Wang was unusually excited, ordering him to be notified the moment Zhu Jingming returned, making it clear the young man had a serious background. In his office, manager Wang reviews Zhu Jingming's file, recognizing him as another disciple of the famed Yang Zhenshin, and resolving that this prodigy, an upper second-rank talent, must not be offended under any circumstances. Meanwhile, Zhu Jingming wanders through the supply base, lamenting the exorbitant price of space rings, which cost over 10 million for a mere suitcase-sized capacity. As he contemplates how much he wants one, his phone suddenly rings. It's a friend from school, asking when he'll return, to which he replies in about half a month. Just as his friend mentions an arrogant new freshman at school, Zhu Jingming walks into an alley, unknowingly entering a trap set by the Tiger Shark squad. Their crippled client, Zhao Chunlin, points out his target and orders the squad to break his hands and feet. Sensing danger, Zhu Jingming pauses mid-conversation, but quickly dismisses it and tells his friend to continue. The squad leader signals for them to get ready, ordering their psychic to analyze the target's strength. The leader scoffs at their caution, believing a first-rank kid is no threat, but the psychic stammers in disbelief at what her power reveals. When asked what's wrong, she shares her psychic perception with the team, revealing Zhu Jingaming's aura not as a small flame, but as a colossal, blinding pillar of purple energy that towers over them all. They instantly realize he's far beyond second rank and could annihilate them with ease. The leader, seething with fury, understands Zhao Chunlin has tricked them into a suicide mission and orders a full retreat. As they flee, Zhu Jingaming effortlessly deflects a parting shot with a flick of his wrist, wondering why the ambushers suddenly ran. He quickly deduces it was Zhao Chunlin's pathetic attempt at revenge, and resolves to teach the man a permanent lesson next time. The enraged squad leader finds Zhao Chunlin and delivers a brutal punch, knocking him from his wheelchair. The leader furiously explains that the target was not first rank, but upper second rank, a revelation that leaves Zhao Chunlin stunned and speechless. Declaring the mission terminated, the squad abandons him. The leader reports back to manager Zhao Yi, informing him that the mission was aborted because the intel was catastrophically wrong. The target wasn't just upper second rank, but possessed the combat strength of at least a third ranker. Zhao Yi is shocked, but the squad leader adds that Zhao Chunlin never gave a name, only a description of a tall, muscular man with a long spear. The description clicks, and a cold dread washes over manager Zhao Yi as he realizes who they were sent to kill. His panic is confirmed when a furious manager Wang contacts him, roaring about how he dared to send an ambush after Zhu Jingaming. Zhao Yi's attempt to downplay the situation is cut short when manager Wang displays Zhu Jingaming's records, revealing he is a top scholar personally mentored by Yang Zhenshin, the head of the Weapons Institute. The truth crashes down on Zhao Yi. He nearly assassinated a figure so well-connected that he could level the entire base with impunity. Two guards drag in the beaten Zhao Chunlin, who begs for his life. But Zhao Yi, desperate to save his own skin, declares that the ringleader must be executed for his foolishness and personally ends him. But manager Wang is not satisfied, stating that this massive screw-up requires a harsher punishment. He declares that everyone involved, from the squad to Zhao Yi himself, will be severely punished to erase any possibility of offending Zhu Jingaming. Later, a full lineup of the base's department heads assembles at the entrance, preparing for the arrival of a VIP. Zhao Kaiyan and her team watch in confusion, only to see Zhu Jingaming arrive. To their astonishment, the base chief manager, Wang Lun, personally steps forward to greet him. The group realizes Zhu Jingaming is far more important than they ever imagined. Manager Wang humbly apologizes for the incident, explaining that all involved have been dealt with and offers reparations from the base. As a token of their apology, he presents Zhu Jingaming with their highest-level black gold membership card and a 1 cubic meter space ring, the very item he had been dreaming of just moments before. Zhu Jingaming's power continues to grow as crackling purple energy surges around him. He accepts the space ring, noting its 50 million currency value and the base's sincerity in their apology. Manager Wang mentions that Zhu Jingaming's senior, Liu Ming, also trained at the base, and offers his direct assistance for any future needs. In his luxurious new room, Zhu Jingaming marvels at the power of his background, knowing an ordinary genius would never receive such treatment. He tests out the new ring, finding it incredibly convenient as he makes his spear disappear and reappear with a thought. He then calls his teacher, Yang Zhenshin, to report on his training and the ambush. Yang Zhenshin is enraged, threatening to blast the entire supply base to pieces if any harm came to his student. When Zhu Jingaming mentions he has already reached upper second rank, his teacher is stunned by the rapid progress, having only trained for a month. Yang bursts into proud laughter, promising to personally celebrate when Zhu Jingaming returns to school. Zhu Jingaming reveals his plan to venture into the advanced area for a final stretch of training, confident his high proficiency in Thunder Dash will keep him safe from fourth-rank beasts. After the call, his teacher boasts to an assistant about his prize student's unheard-of promotion speed, remarking that life-or-death combat is practically a cheat code for Zhu Jingaming's growth. Back in the wilderness, Zhu Jingaming heads into the deeper, more dangerous part of the forest, where the roars of powerful beasts echo everywhere. A blur of green energy shoots past him as a Gale Terror wolf appears, a mid-third-rank wind-type beast. Before he can engage, another group arrives, led by the influencer Jiang Chukshuan. The group's captain brazenly declares their intention to steal the kill for filming content, suggesting a staged scene where the goddess saves the helpless second-rank adventurer. However, Jiang Chukshuan immediately shuts him down, stating she has no need for fake shots, and noting Zhu Jingaming's calm demeanor suggests he needs no help. Annoyed, her team leaves to find another beast. Zhu Jingaming watches them go, noting the influencer's decent personality but weak control over her team. With the intruders gone, he turns his attention back to the wolf, and with a furious cry of electric gale break, slams his spear down, obliterating the beast in a storm of lightning. He gains 34 ability points, and with a determined grin, decides to grind hard for the last 10 days. 7 days later, he confronts a pack of third-ranked giant strength apes. He hurls a lightning spear into their leader, but it fails to be a one-shot kill, forcing him to unleash a torrent of chain lightning that electrocutes the entire pack into submission, leaving him standing amidst the smoking corpses. Now even stronger, he muses on returning to school to learn S-rank skills when a distress signal suddenly flashes on his watch. Elsewhere, Jiang Chuxuan is fleeing for her life, pursued by a monstrous fourth-rank burrowing dragon. Her team was scattered, and as a mere mid-second ranker, she knows she is hopelessly outmatched against the ruthless beast. She sprints desperately, hoping another squad will see her signal. As she breaks into open grassland, her heart sinks, knowing the lack of cover means she can no longer escape. Just as the dragon lunges for the kill, a bolt of purple lightning strikes from the sky, intercepting the attack. She looks up in shock to see her savior is none other than Zhu Jingaming. Zhu Jingaming stands ready, his body crackling with untamed purple energy as he prepares for the next fight. Jiang Chuxuan urgently warns him to run, mistakenly identifying the beast as a lower third-ranked dragon he can't possibly defeat. Ignoring her plea, Zhu Jingaming steps forward, planting his spear in the ground to face the monster head-on. Frustrated, she berates him for not listening to reason, declaring she won't drag an innocent bystander down with her. In a surprising move, she pushes past him, telling him to run while she holds it off. The dragon lunges, but as she braces for impact, a blur of motion intercepts it. With blinding speed, Zhu Jingaming unleashes a storm of lightning-fast spear strikes, shredding the dragon in a whirlwind of purple energy and gore. Jiang Chuxuan can only stare in disbelief as the beast is instantly killed, realizing the power she witnessed earlier was no illusion. A notification confirms the kill, granting Zhu Jingaming 36 ability points. He casually asks if she's all right, and she shakily thanks him for saving her. He offers a hand to help her up, and she introduces herself, promising to repay the life debt. Zhu Jingaming cheekily asks for an autographed photo for his friend, a superfan of hers, and she agrees to give him one back at the base. She then formally introduces herself as a sophomore from the elemental college, surprised to learn he is a freshman since most students don't reach upper second rank until their junior year. She praises his incredible strength, noting that even a lower third-ranked dragon is comparable to an ordinary upper third-ranked beast, and she can't believe he one-shotted it. As he prepares to leave, she asks if she can stick with him for a while, explaining she was separated from her team and can't handle the wilderness alone. He agrees to escort her toward the city ruins. She suggests checking the dragon's cave for treasure, which he readily agrees to. On the way, she asks which academy he's from and is shocked to learn his teacher is the notoriously fierce Yang Zhenshin, the king of hell, leading to an awkward, flustered apology that makes Zhu Jingaming question her supposed goddess persona. They arrive at the cave, and he tells her to hide behind him as he cautiously enters. Inside, they find not danger, but a paradise of rare herbs and flowers, including B-rank kindling grass and A-rank flame flowers. Jiang Chuxuan immediately identifies the source of this bounty, an S-rank earth spirit spring, a healing medicine condensed from the essence of the earth. Impressed by her knowledge, Zhu Jingaming learns she has a level 2 pharmacist certificate. She explains they can prepare at least 5 doses of S-rank healing liquid from the spring, and generously offers it all to him. He decides to split the treasure, giving her 1 dose and half the herbs. Their peaceful foraging is interrupted by the arrival of Jiang Chuxuan's team. The Captain Wang feigns relief at finding her, though his eyes are locked on the treasure. His subordinate whispers to him, identifying the pool as the S-rank Earth Spirit Spring, and a dark greed flashes in their eyes. The captain drops all pretense, offering Jiang all the herbs if she leaves the spring to them. She tries to usher Zhu Jingaming away, warning him that the entire enemy team is composed of peak third-rank users. But Zhu Jingaming stands his ground, confidently stating that he is no weaker than them and correctly guessing they have no intention of letting either of them leave alive. The captain confirms his suspicion with a sinister grin, explaining that silencing a big streamer like her is the only way to avoid the scandal of their actions. Surrounded by an aura of raw, crackling power, the senior prepares for battle. Behind him, Jiang Chuxuan knows she cannot afford to be a burden and makes a grim decision. She consumes a bloodburst pill, a dangerous stimulant that will grant her a temporary surge of strength. The cost is immediate, a wave of pain washing over her as she swallows the pill. But it works, flaring her A-rank ice ability to life. The ground freezes as their enemies arrive. A trio of mercenaries led by a smirking captain who orders his subordinate, Zhu Chang, to deal with her lover, while he handles her personally. The captain transforms into a hulking, anthropomorphic tiger, mocking that she will leave her life behind today. As his men gloat about taking their time and recording her demise, despair washes over Jiang Chuxuan, who believes she's doomed and has dragged her senior down with her. But her lament is cut short by a sudden gasp of disbelief. In the blink of an eye, the captain's cronies are on the ground, bleeding and defeated. The senior's gaze is cold, as he muses that even a third-tier fighter isn't much after all. The tiger captain is stunned by his incredible speed, realizing he has gravely misjudged his opponent. This quiet young man was the true threat all along. Enraged, the captain unleashes his tiger roar slash, a blow so powerful it sends the senior flying backwards. Acknowledging that the third-tier peak captain is much stronger in terms of raw power, the senior decides he can no longer afford to hold back. He activates his Thunder Extreme mode, his body erupting in a violent storm of dark energy as he transforms, sprouting demonic horns and radiating an overwhelming pressure. Jiang Chuxuan can only watch in awe. The captain feels the incredible power but scoffs, dismissing it as just a special mode. He unleashes his defensive skill, Lying Tiger Stone, boasting that no attack below Tier 4 can break his armor. His confidence is shattered when the senior's Lightning Gale Slash collides with the defense and utterly annihilates it. The senior sneers that his body is now 4 times stronger than before, far too much for the captain's so-called iron skin. Forced back into human form, the captain desperately launches a B-rank Flame Demon Claw, only for the senior to bat it aside with ease, leaving the man to wonder what kind of monster he is facing. Now wounded and on the ground, the captain begs for his life, offering treasure and the Earth Spirit Spring. The senior coldly informs him it's too late for begging, before ending his life in a splash of blood. As he stands victorious, Jiang Chuxuan wonders if this is all a dream, certain that his power surpasses A-rank and might even be S-rank. His bloodlust rekindling, the senior turns to the remaining guards, who recoil in terror and call him a demon. He scoffs at the title, retorting that compared to murderers and robbers, he's far more human. The terrified guards consume their own bloodburst pills for a final, desperate stand. The battle is swift and merciless. When the dust settles, the senior stands shirtless amidst the corpses, his demonic transformation gone. The power came at a great cost, and he pants from exhaustion, noting that 10 minutes in that mode is more draining than hours of normal combat. Jiang Chuxuan rushes to his side, but he waves off her concern, suggesting they gather their prize. After collecting the untainted Earth Spirit Spring, he generously offers her a share for her hard work. She thanks him happily, but as she reaches for the bottles, she suddenly cries out and stumbles. Her body gives way as she realizes with a jolt of panic that the debilitating side effects of the bloodburst pill are finally kicking in. Overcome by the debilitating aftereffects of the bloodburst pill, Jiang Chuxuan collapses, her body completely drained of strength, and her mind in a haze. As she falls against the senior, she panics internally, worried that she's leaving a terrible impression. Understanding the severity of her condition, he calmly lifts her into his arms, telling her he'll take her somewhere to rest. Her heart pounds in her chest as he carries her, gently setting her down against a rock wall, before saying he'll go collect the remaining herbs. In a surprisingly gentle gesture, he removes his shirt and drapes it over her, leaving her flustered by his kindness. While she recovers, he sifts through the mercenaries' belongings, disappointed to find little of value beyond some cash and C-rank skills. The only useful items are 2 small spatial rings, which he hopes can be traded for a larger one to carry his cumbersome Jiang Chuxuan then calls out, telling him the Earth Spirit Spring can ease the pill's side effects, and asks him to feed her a single sip. He obliges, and the potent liquid works instantly, though she says a full recovery will take several hours. Realizing night will fall soon, the senior decides they will rest in the cave, as it's the safest option. The thought of spending the night alone with him sends Jiang Chuxuan's mind racing, but she timidly agrees to his plan. The next morning, she wakes up feeling much better, silently scolding herself for her wild thoughts the night before. yet feeling a strange pang of disappointment that he was such a gentleman. Her thoughts are interrupted when he announces it's time to leave, offering to escort her to the edge of the forest. As they travel, he suddenly halts, pulling her behind him, just as a massive Tier 5 flame tiger erupts from the trees. To their surprise, the beast charges past without even glancing at them, and Jiang Chukshuan observes that it appears to be running for its life. The reason becomes terrifyingly clear, as a tidal wave of iron-eating rats follows in its wake. She explains in horror that while the rats are only Tier 1, their sheer numbers could overwhelm even a Tier 6 powerhouse, which explains why the tiger was fleeing. Without a moment's hesitation, they turn and run for their lives. They know the rats have incredible stamina, and the nearest supply base is 90 kilometers away. They need to move faster. The senior considers dropping his spear to gain speed, but Jiang Chukshuan quickly offers to store it in her larger spatial ring. With the spear stored away, he decides that's still not fast enough and swiftly hoists her onto his back to carry her. They reach the nearby city ruins, only to find their escape route is also swarming with the rats. Trapped, the senior declares they'll have to fight their way through, transforming once more into his demonic thunder extreme mode. He tells her to hold on tight as he accelerates, becoming a blur of purple lightning that carves a path through the horde, racking up ability points with every kill. Back at the supply base, the director receives a grim report. A rat tide of over 300,000 is ravaging the wilderness, and he writes off any ability users caught in it as dead, including the promising student Zhu Jingming. Just then, a drone spots a terrifying ball of lightning hurtling toward them. The director orders his soldiers to open fire, but their weapons are useless as the target moves at an impossible 80 meters per second. The lightning entity smashes through their perimeter and lands inside the base, revealing not a beast, but a man with a terrifying aura carrying a woman on his back. Exhausted, the senior, now revealed as Zhu Jingming, reverts to his human form and tells Jiang Chukshuan they are finally safe. The director rushes over, utterly stunned to see Zhu Jingming alive, having somehow outrun a disaster that should have killed even a Tier 4 user. Zhu Jingming simply says he's tired and needs a room, and Jiang Chukshuan insists on helping him herself, much to the dismay of the onlooking soldiers who lament that their goddess has been stolen. 2 days later, Zhu Jingming finally awakens to find Jiang Chukshuan watching over him. She informs him the rat tide is ongoing and the area is under lockdown, so he decides it's time to return to school. As they prepare to leave, she fulfills her earlier promise, handing him a signed photograph of herself in provocative lingerie. Flustered, Zhu Jingming explains that the signed photo was for a friend, but this one is a bit too risque, asking if she has a more normal picture. Jiang Chukshuan realizes with embarrassment that she'd misunderstood the situation, thinking he had feelings for her. Mortified, she snatches the photo back and hands him a more modest one. Zhu Jingming then awkwardly tries to make an exit, saying he has to book his train ticket home, but she smoothly tells him not to bother, offering him a ride in her supercar. They hit the road in her bright yellow limited edition sports car, with Zhu Jingming marveling at the luxury and his first time in a self-driving vehicle. Back on the campus of Shanghai Superpower University, they attract attention from other students who admire Zhu Jingming's charismatic and dangerous aura. He reflects on how much his power has skyrocketed in just a month and a half as they part ways at their respective dorm zones. He thanks her for the ride, and she offers her help anytime he might need it. But before she leaves, she impulsively plants a kiss on his cheek as a token of thanks for saving her life. She walks away with a smile, leaving him stunned and touching his cheek in disbelief. Meanwhile, in her room, Jiang Chukshuan begins researching Zhu Jingming, certain that someone so strong couldn't possibly be unknown. Back in his own dorm, Zhu Jingming takes stock of his recent gains and checks his status, noting that his 3,700 power points should be enough to learn 2 new S-rank combat arts. His roommate suddenly bursts in, relieved to see him alive after hearing about the rat swarm. The roommate is then stunned by Zhu Jingming's powerful new aura, shocked to learn he has already reached the upper 2nd tier. He's tempted to seek out his own near-death experiences, but Zhu Jingming warns him against it, explaining that his own case was special. After his roommate leaves, he remembers he has a gift for him and casually tosses him the signed photo of Jiang Chukshuan, which sends his friend into a screaming fit of joy. With business taken care of, Zhu Jingming heads to the university's virtual library to choose his new skills. He asks the system, EVA, to filter all S-rank lightning combat arts from the Academy's limited selection of 20-odd options. He carefully considers his choices, ultimately settling on two: the Heavenly Thunder technique for ranged attacks and another for defense, deciding that while others specialize, he'll master both. He discovers that the Heavenly Thunder technique is also a prerequisite for the Academy's only SSS-Rank art, making it even more valuable. The complexity of the technique is staggering, making his old PhD research papers seem simple in comparison. After hours of intense study, he finally grasps the basics and prepares to use his system to master it. He commands his Deep Blue system to add points, pouring power into the new skill. He's shocked when it costs a whopping 1,600 points just to upgrade the S-Rank art to a basic level. He's interrupted by Eva, the library AI, who gently reminds him that it's 1 a.m. and the use of abilities is forbidden. Later that night, a young woman named Song Ki-ayan is out for a late-night run when a swift, camouflaged beast, a third-tier white-ring feathered hawk, swoops down from the sky to hunt in the city. Before it can strike, a sudden bolt of lightning erupts from the clear sky, forming a powerful thunder sigil that instantly obliterates the hawk. Stunned, Song Ki-ayan realizes a high-tier lightning user must be on campus. Elsewhere, Zhu Jingming smiles, marveling at the incredible power of his newly acquired S-Rank combat art. Pleased with the result, Zhu Jingming notes that his new Heavenly Thunder technique is even stronger than he expected, effortlessly obliterating the third-tier beast and netting him 34 ability points. From the shadows, another student watches him leave, intrigued by the famous freshman. The next day, Zhu Jingming heads out early to the combat skills library, determined to prepare for the upcoming freshman competition. His roommate is amazed by his diligence, feeling inspired to train harder himself. On his way, Zhu Jingming is called out by Song Ki-ayan, who greets him warmly and reminds him of his promise to spar. He asks if she's sure, but she confidently states that as the provincial champion of Sichuan, she shouldn't be underestimated. Though he tries to postpone, she insists they fight now, dragging him toward his dorm's training room, privately eager to see what expression he'll make when she defeats him. In the training room, she smirks, telling him she hopes he doesn't lose too badly. Zhu Jingming calmly states that she won't be able to beat him without a weapon, prompting her to summon a massive halberd from her spatial ring. Ready for battle, she declares that this time she will utterly defeat him. As their friends watch, Zhu Jingming reveals his own power, and the onlookers are shocked to realize he's already at the upper second rank, completely outclassing Song Ki-ayan's lower second rank. Annoyed at being suppressed by level, she grits her teeth. He asks if she still wants to continue, and she agrees, but asks him not to use too much force. He assures her he won't strike first, and invites her to come at him. She activates her A-rank light-type ability, Dawn Light, and charges forward with her light flame gravity array technique. Zhu Jingming effortlessly parries her attack, unimpressed by the power of her skill. Undeterred, she attacks again and again, but he easily deflects every one of her hundreds of strikes, critiquing her halberd technique as too slow and lacking power. Exhausted and utterly defeated, she finally gives up, amazed that he could counter her A-rank skill without using one of his own. He reveals that his spearmanship is at the master level, a feat that leaves her speechless. She has practiced for 10 years and only reached the advanced level. Conceding that she can't possibly beat someone with his combination of talent and an S-rank ability, she admits defeat. After the spar, she invites him to lunch as thanks, which he accepts. As they leave, his roommate praises him for being the strongest among the provincial champions, but Zhu Jingming casually remarks that Song Ki-ayan's strength isn't that high. His roommate is stunned, revealing that she is the great-granddaughter of Song Daeyuan, a legendary 8th-rank grandmaster who is famous enough to be in history textbooks. Zhu Jingming is taken aback, realizing that her powerful background explains her wealth and rapid leveling. Shaking it off, he heads back to the library to continue his training. After another 4 hours of study and pouring his remaining points into his new skills, he masters his defensive art, Nether Prison Thunder Armor, leaving him with just over 700 ability points. With his preparations complete, he sets his sights on the freshman competition. On the day of the event, his group heads to the massive arena. In the stands, Jiang Chuxuan is also present, admitting to a friend that she's only there because someone she's interested in is participating. Down on the field, Zhu Jingming and the others are awed by the scale of the venue, learning that it's to accommodate a 100-person melee battle. A wicked grin spreads across his face as he cracks his knuckles, eagerly anticipating the fight to come. As Zhu Jingming stands amidst crackling purple lightning, he finds himself at the Magic City Superpower University, a place far more intense than he ever imagined. His friend is in awe, pointing out that even the presidents of the school's top clubs, the Ash Club and the Falling Star Club, have come to watch, wondering if this grand assembly is for Zhu Jingming. Surprised, Zhu Jingming learns that the university's clubs are not for leisure, but are elite battle teams that hunt beasts for resources, acting as direct pipelines to powerful guilds after graduation. His friend then mentions that their senior, Liu Ming, is the vice president of the Ash Club, and finds it strange that he's not present for Zhu Jingming's big day. A shadow crosses Zhu Jingming's face as he internally recalls that both Senior Liu and his master have been out of contact since heading southwest, their safety unknown. Unseen by them, the president of the Ash Club declares his sole purpose for attending is to recruit Zhu Jingming at any cost, only to notice his rival, Wu Yuan from the Falling Star Club, also watching intently from the stands. A massive golden sigil heralds the arrival of the school's leadership, and a woman makes a grand entrance through a vortex of spatial energy. She introduces herself as Vice Principal Ling Shuang, the host of the freshman opening ceremony. With a sharp gaze, she announces that this year's class includes 1,024 freshmen, with 56 A ranks and one extremely rare S-rank awakener, her eyes sweeping over the crowd. Ling Shuang explains that the school is a brutal meritocracy where resources are distributed based on a D to S rating, and this very competition will determine their standing. When a student mutters about fairness, she scoffs, declaring that Magic City University cultivates top-tier powerhouses through relentless competition, urging them to fight and seize what they can. The competition's first stage is a 100-person melee across 10 rounds, with the top 5 from each advancing. The rewards are staggering, with first place receiving a 10 cubic meter space ring, an item that money can't buy. As the rules are set, Elemental Academy Dean Sun Kingsnow officially begins the competition, adding that exceptional students may be chosen as personal disciples by the teachers. The first round starts, and a cocky student named Lai Chengjai throws a provocative glance toward Zhu Jingming, infuriating his companions. The moment the match begins, the arena erupts in chaos, and the crowd is stunned to see Lai Chengjai is already a second-order powerhouse, utterly dominating his opponents. He wins the round with an overwhelming 36 defeats, and then taunts Zhu Jingming from afar, challenging the S-rank to surpass his record, while Zhu Jingming's friend calls the man hopeless for seeking death. Club President Wu Yuan dismisses Lai Chengjai's display, reaffirming to his subordinate that Zhu Jingming remains their primary target, hinting that he has personally witnessed his true power. Soon the second round is announced, and Zhu Jingming is called to the stage. His friends cheer him on, telling him to show Lai Chengjai his true strength. The other contestants in his round are filled with despair, already resigning themselves to fighting for the 4 remaining spots. The deans in the VIP seats take note, commenting on the S-rank Purple Thunder Awakener's terrifying leveling speed. As the countdown ends, Zhu Jingming doesn't wait a second, unleashing a catastrophic storm of violet lightning that instantly engulfs the entire arena, trapping his 99 opponents in a swirling vortex of raw power. The other contestants are frozen in terror, the air thick with Zhu Jingming's oppressive aura as they realize he's not just a Tier 2 user, but a Tier 2 high-rank powerhouse, a level of strength they can't even comprehend competing against. Watching from the stands, Club President Wu Yuan smirks, confirming to his subordinate that he was well aware of Zhu Jingming's terrifying potential. Even Lai Chengjai, the arrogant victor of the first round, now sweats with fear, his dreams of making a name for himself evaporating before his eyes. Just as despair sets in, a student named Shilaio, an A-rank mental user, seizes the opportunity. He uses his power to rally the panicked crowd, proposing that all 102 of them unite to eliminate the single greatest threat on the field, Zhu Jingming. The freshmen eagerly agree, their fear turning into a desperate hope for a once-in-a-lifetime victory against an S-rank user. The deans observe with great interest, with Dean Long Qi boasting about his disciples' tactical prowess, while Dean Sun Kingsnow remarks that it would be a massive joke if an S-rank failed the very first stage. Shilaio taunts Zhu Jingming, claiming he missed his only chance, and is now facing an unwinnable 102-on-1 battle. But Zhu Jingming simply grins, coolly asking what makes them think he's at a disadvantage. At Shilaio's command, the United Freshmen launch a coordinated assault. In response, Zhu Jingming unleashes a catastrophic explosion of purple lightning that shatters the arena floor and engulfs the entire battlefield. The resulting mushroom cloud horrifies the audience, and the system AI, EVA, immediately activates emergency defense shields for every contestant, announcing that they have all been eliminated by Zhu Jingming. Shilayo is left on his knees in utter disbelief, realizing their combined strength was nothing more than a swarm of ants against a giant. The deans are blown away, analyzing his flawless lightning net and spear techniques which moved faster than the speed of sound. With the alliance shattered, the few remaining survivors panic and try to flee. Zhu Jingming mocks their cowardice before becoming a blur of violet electricity, tearing through their pathetic attempts at a formation. He blitzes through them with contemptuous ease, effortlessly dispatching each one while declaring them all too weak. As the dust settles, Eva announces the end of round 2, with Zhu Jingming as the sole qualifier after defeating 102 opponents. Because only one person advanced, a special 11th round is created to select the remaining 4 qualifiers from the pool of losers. The audience is in an uproar, having witnessed absolute, crushing domination, and they predict the school's clubs will fight tooth and nail to recruit him. The deans discuss how Zhu Jingming not only shattered the previous 40-year-old record of 87 defeats, but did so with master-level spearmanship, a feat that leaves them speechless. Meanwhile, Zhu Jingming's friends congratulate him, gleefully recounting how Lai Chengzhai's face turned purple with fear, exposing him as a paper tiger who only bullies the weak. Zhu Jingming decides to let it go for now, telling his friends that it's their turn to shine and that he'll deal with the arrogant fool later. As the subsequent rounds unfold, his friends each secure their places in the top 50. The spotlight then turns to Song Qian, the top scorer from Sichuan province, whose beauty and rare halberd weapon captivate the crowd. She immediately proves she's more than just a pretty face by unleashing her Light of Dawn ability and revealing she's another Tier 2 user. From the stands, club president Wu Yuan is impressed and instructs his subordinate to list her as their second recruitment target. Song Qian dances through the battlefield, her light flame gravity slash technique slamming her opponents to the ground with immense force, and she easily secures first place with 45 defeats. She approaches Zhu Jingming afterward, seeking his approval for her performance, and he compliments her skilled combination of magic and melee combat. The competition then enters stage 2, the free challenge, where the top 50 can challenge higher ranks to steal their spot. To everyone's shock, one of Lai Chengzhai's former lackeys immediately challenges him, seeking revenge. Lai Chengzhai's face contorts in horror, but before that fight can even begin, Zhu Jingming steps forward. Ignoring the second-place fighter, he declares his intention to challenge the third-place holder, Lai Chengzhai. When Lai Chengzhai questions why the first place would challenge the third, Zhu Jingming coldly reminds him that he is not someone to be provoked lightly. The battle begins and Lai Chengzhai, roaring that Zhu Jingming forced his hand, transforms into a berserk lion man. Zhu Jingming retorts that this disaster was caused by his own arrogance, before effortlessly parrying the beast's attack. Grabbing the lion's head, he unleashes his purple cloud divine lightning, electrocuting Lai Chengzhai with meticulously controlled power, torturing him without ending the match. The crowd watches in horrified awe, realizing that provoking Zhu Jingming is a mistake they must never make. After a few seconds of agonizing pain, Eva declares Zhu Jingming the winner. Lai Chengzhai collapses, traumatized but alive, having learned a lesson he will never forget. Just as he breathes a sigh of relief that it's over, Song Qian steps up and also challenges the third place, sending Lai Chengzhai into a fresh wave of despair. With his opponent lying broken on a stretcher, Zhu Jingming remains composed, a master of both lightning and chaos. Elsewhere in the arena, the freshman competition rages on, culminating in a decisive victory for Song Qian, who announces her win with a confident smile. She immediately runs over to Jingming, excitedly asking if he witnessed her triumph, to which he gives a simple affirmation of her skill. The two share a celebratory fist bump, a small gesture that does not go unnoticed. Onlookers immediately begin to gossip, certain that something is brewing between the top male prospect and the goddess of their batch. They whisper nervously, recalling the fate of Lai Chengzhai and fearing the wrath of what they call a husband and wife mixed doubles team. Hours later, the freshman competition officially concludes, and the final results are displayed for all to see. Zhu Jingming has secured first place, followed by Song Qian in second, and the unfortunate Lai Chengzhai in third. The students are then instructed to log into the school's website for their academy assignments. Jingming learns he's been assigned to the Weapons Academy, while Qian is headed to the Element Academy, a fact that draws more curious stares from their peers. As the opening ceremony ends, an announcement rings out, promising that top-performing students will receive apprenticeship offers from exclusive mentors that very night. This news travels fast, with 2 senior staff members noting that this year's freshmen are exceptionally fierce, singling out Jingaming as a talent who will likely dominate the entire student body within a year. Eager to celebrate, Jingaming's friends propose a meal, playfully demanding that the newcomer king treat them, an offer he generously accepts without hesitation. But their departure is cut short by Wu Yuan, the president of the esteemed Meteor Society, who stops them with a tempting offer for Jingaming. The position of vice president, 100 credits per semester, and a B-class resource. His friends can only watch in envy, marveling at the gap between an S-rank prodigy and ordinary students. Before Jingaming can respond, another voice cuts in, mocking the Meteor Society's offer as stingy. The newcomer, representing the rival Ash Society, makes an even more audacious proposal. Jingaming can become their reserve president immediately and take over as full president upon the current leader's graduation. The crowd buzzes, stunned by the Ash Society's massive investment. Jingaming, however, remains cautious, asking for a few days to consider his options. In his mind, he recalls his previous life, where his duties in the student council consumed all his time, and he vows not to repeat the same mistake. Both presidents hand him their contact cards and extend invitations to his friends as well. As they try to leave, they are suddenly swarmed by a horde of recruiters from various other societies, each desperately trying to win Jingaming over with promises of financial backing and a roster full of girls. After finally breaking free from the mob, they are once again stopped, this time by a striking silver-haired woman. Jingaming recognizes her as senior sister Jiang Chukshuan, a sophomore he met in the wilderness, and introduces her to his friends. His white-haired companion is instantly starstruck by the goddess Jiang, while Song Qian steps forward to introduce herself. Jiang Chukshuan is visibly impressed by Qian's curvaceous figure and charming demeanor, internally noting what a terrifying girl she is, capable of appealing to both men and women. Qian invites the senior to join their celebration, and she readily agrees. The group heads to a fancy restaurant, toasting to their success in the competition. Both Jiang Chukshuan and Song Qian make a point to toast with Jingaming individually. Seeing their chance, his 2 other friends make a hasty exit, cheekily leaving Jingaming to handle the 2 beautiful women. No sooner are they gone than both girls lean against him, claiming to be too drunk to walk and asking him to support them. Sweating under the pressure, Jingaming reluctantly agrees to take them back. After dropping them off, he returns to his own lavish residence, only to find an unknown woman relaxing on his couch. She introduces herself as Su Yu, his class counselor, and presents him with a box containing his reward for placing first. She explains it can be opened with his fingerprint and tells him to join the class group chat before taking her leave. Just then, his white-haired friend returns, curiously asking if a conflict broke out between the 2 women. When Jingaming replies that everything was harmonious, his friend is utterly astonished, concluding that Brother Ming is a true master for handling them both so smoothly. Jingaming ignores the praise, his attention focused solely on the reward box, which he promptly opens with his fingerprint, eager to see the fruits of his victory. Inside the reward box, Zhu Jingaming discovers a glowing blue orb, a spatial storage ring. With a single thought, he effortlessly stores his large spear, a look of immense satisfaction crossing his face. He's finally free from the burden of carrying his weapons everywhere, and the 10 cubic meters of space is more than enough. His friend is left in awe, remarking that with 3 storage rings, Jingaming is now a veritable tycoon. While Jingaming plans to sell the extras at the equipment department, his attention shifts to the other item in the box, a mysterious pill with no manual. His friend casually summons his AI assistant Eva, which promptly identifies the item as a rank 5 mind focus pill. It's a rare A-rank cultivation resource that significantly boosts mental power for anyone at tier 5 or below. Jingaming is intrigued that the AI has such an advanced analysis function, learning it can also identify monster materials and exotic herbs. Musing on the convenience, he heads to his private training room to test his new prize. He knows that raising his foundational attributes of physique and spirit is becoming increasingly difficult, so he wastes no time, swallowing the pill in one go. A powerful surge of energy courses through him as he meditates, and when he checks his stats, he sees his spirit has jumped from 1,037 to over 1, 300 HZ. The next day, after selling off his spare rings, Jingaming's assets soar to over 100 million, a small fortune built on his overwhelming power. He heads to the potion department, but the long queue forces him to find a seat and wait. As he settles in, he's surprised to run into senior sister Jiang Chukshuan. He smirks, asking if she's sobered up from the previous night, and she quickly changes the subject, asking if he's there to sell the rare herbs he found. Jingaming explains he'd rather find a potion maker to refine them, prompting her to proudly declare that she is a licensed rank 2 potion maker. She reveals that after her near-death experience in the wilderness, she decided to pivot from a combat vlogger to making daily vlogs about potion making. She confesses that she's an orphan whose parents died in a beast tide, and her A-rank ice ability was her only ticket to university. But the financial strain was immense. Realizing she can't rely on luck to survive in the wild, she's making a change, a decision Jingaming supports. She explains that even ice-type users can become potion makers by using special enchanted cauldrons that convert energy into flame. Trusting her, Jingaming hands over the box of rare herbs, and she promises to have the finished pills ready in a week. Just as she leaves, Jingaming receives an urgent summons. He arrives at a traditional-looking estate, the residence of his teacher, where 2 senior students are discussing the monstrous reputation he's already built on the school forums. Jingaming is shocked to see his senior brother Liu confined to a wheelchair, his legs bandaged. His teacher explains the grim situation. A rank 8 grandmaster named Wang Lin used the Grey Guild as bait to lure monsters, resulting in heavy casualties and Liu's severe injuries. Liu managed to wound Wang Lin in their fight, but it cost him dearly, preventing him from attending the freshman competition. The teacher then introduces Jingaming to his other disciples, 3rd year Zhu Wei and 2nd year Tong Yu, who gift him a rank 4 Origin Energy Pill and 200 credits as a welcome present. As thanks, his teacher asks him to demonstrate the 4 A-rank lightning skills he's mastered, which leaves the seniors utterly dumbfounded. Tong Yu is particularly shocked, lamenting that not only is a freshman at her level, but he's also mastered twice as many A-rank skills. Jingaming simply brushes it off as good intuition, hiding the secret of his system. He then turns to his teacher with a serious request. He wants help testing an S-rank combat skill, the Nether Thunder Armor. The room falls silent, everyone stunned by his declaration. Without another word, his teacher leads them to the training field. As they walk, the seniors can only whisper in disbelief, finally understanding why he's called a monster. On the field, Jingaming's body erupts with crackling energy, and in a blinding flash, he is clad in jagged, lightning-infused armor, challenging his master to come at him with full force. His teacher gathers a sphere of crackling red energy, announcing he will start with an attack equivalent to a peak Tier 3 user. The blast slams into Zhu Jingaming, but his Nether Thunder armor holds firm, completely negating the damage. Unimpressed, Jingaming demands his teacher increase the power. The teacher complies, ramping up the intensity, unleashing attacks 2, 4, and 6 times stronger, yet the armor remains unscratched. Finally, he unleashes a blast 10 times the original power, an attack on the level of a lower stage Tier 4 user, which finally forces Jingaming to his knees as his armor dissipates. His teacher laughs, impressed, declaring that it would take a Tier 4 A-rank user to break through that defense. The senior students are speechless, realizing Jingaming's S-rank skill and ability combine to create a terrifyingly powerful defense that allows him to cross 2 entire tiers. But just as his teacher is about to call it a day, Jingaming roars that he hasn't reached his limit yet. Pushing his power to the absolute brink, his hair turns white as his body enters the Thunder Extreme state, a sign that his undying Thunder body has reached the 3rd layer. His fellow disciples are stunned. They had assumed he was only at the 2nd layer. Laughing heartily, his teacher acknowledges the upgrade and unleashes another powerful blast. This time, Jingaming withstands an attack 20 times stronger, an assault equivalent to a middle-stage Tier 4 user. His teacher is beyond impressed, admitting Jingaming has far exceeded his expectations. Now fully aware of his defensive capabilities, Jingaming thanks his master, who praises him as his most worry-free and talented student before treating the entire group to a lavish meal. On the ride there, Jingaming asks Senior Liu whether he should join the Meteor or the Grey Society, and Liu surprisingly recommends Meteor. He explains that while he would normally recruit Jingaming himself, his own guild is currently in turmoil, making Meteor the better choice for now. However, his teacher offers a third option, join a club for a year or two, then create his own society to build a power base. Jingaming is intrigued, and his teacher explains that his own lack of a faction has prevented him from reaching the Grandmaster rank, as he's forced to waste time on trivial matters. Taking the lesson to heart, Jingaming decides to consider building his own power once he's stronger. The next day, classes officially begin, starting with the history of the Blue Planet's awakening and the discovery of ancient ruins. Jingaming attends various classes, from anatomy and weaponry to elemental studies, where he effortlessly shapes his lightning into a dragon, earning the admiration of the teacher, who laments he isn't in her college. Over the next few days, he dedicates himself to training in the wilderness, honing his skills and earning enough credits to purchase the Azure Black Dragon Spear. Reviewing his stats, he notices a new option to upgrade his S-Rank ability itself. He realizes that with enough points, his Purple Sky Divine Thunder could evolve into an even more powerful SS-Rank ability, a thought that fills him with grim determination. Back in the classroom, Song Ki-yeon marvels at his rapid progress in ability manipulation, and he cryptically chalks it up to a sudden epiphany. She then informs him about an upcoming joint event with 2 other universities in a wilderness area, an opportunity he eagerly accepts. A week later, the students gather for the research trip, confident that with Jingaming on their side, a 5th consecutive championship is practically guaranteed. An instructor outlines the mission. They are heading to the Seven Devil's Den, a treacherous area where countless superpowered individuals have fallen. The students murmur nervously, sensing the danger ahead. The instructor explains that the 3 schools will be ranked based on the number and tier of beasts killed, with resources allocated accordingly, and she personally tasks Jingaming with securing first place for their university. He accepts without hesitation, but she delivers a crucial piece of intel. Qingjing University has brought in a foreign S-Rank user to compete. The news sends a shockwave through the students, as no new S-Rank has appeared in the country for 3 years. A holographic image appears, identifying their new rival, a Tier 3 user with a metal-type ability. The students are shocked to learn that their new rival is already a lower Tier 3 S-Rank. The instructor confirms the intel is accurate, adding that unlike them, he's already 20 years old. The students grumble, calling it unfair that a 20-year-old counts as a freshman. But the instructor clarifies that in the rival's home empire, university starts at 20. While Song Ki-yeon worries that she's no match for him, Zhu Jingaming remains completely unfazed. He thinks to himself that with his countless combat skills, he has no reason to fear another S-Rank, especially not in a competition based on killing beasts. His confidence impresses the instructor, who mentally notes that her approval of a special grant for him was not in vain. She concludes the briefing, giving the students 7 days to prepare. 7 days later, Jeong Chukchuan delivers a massive supply of refined pills to Jingaming, enough to last him a month. He thanks her for her hard work, noticing the dark circles under her eyes, and tells her not to overwork herself in the future. She proudly declares her handcrafted pills are far superior to anything store-bought, and reveals she made a second set for Ki-yeon. Jingaming is surprised at their budding friendship, but doesn't press for details. After she leaves, he reflects on the sheer effort it must have taken to refine 160 pills in a week, a feat requiring multiple all-nighters, and resolves to get stronger so he can properly consider their relationship in the future. The day of the trip arrives, and nearly all 856 freshmen gather on the playground. One of Jingaming's friends explains they'll be traveling by aircraft, and just as he says it, a massive, futuristic airship descends from the sky. The students marvel at the vessel, which is an excavated relic from an ancient civilization whose anti-gravity technology is still a mystery. After everyone boards, the instructor activates a spatial yin-yang barrier, turning the entire airship transparent. The students are amazed by the reality-shattering power of a high-tier individual, and Jingaming finds himself wondering if he'll gain a flight skill once his thunder body reaches the 6th layer. The airship launches, arriving at the Shunan supply base in Cayenne province. They are assigned dormitory buildings and given their room cards. Jingaming discovers he and Ki-yeon are neighbors, much to her delight. Since he has a spatial ring, Jingaming decides to skip unpacking and head straight for the training ground, with Ki-yeon eagerly joining him. Inside the massive gym, Ki-yeon immediately spots the foreign S-Rank from Qingjing University, Curran Rao, lifting immense weights with ease. Suddenly, he tosses the dumbbells aside, which crash into the floor with enough force to shatter the concrete. He approaches Jingaming's group and introduces himself, his eyes lingering on Ki-yeon. The other students murmur, impressed by Jingaming's reputation, but relieved their own university has Curran to even the odds. As Curran reaches to kiss Ki-Yun's hand, Jingaming's hand shoots out, grabbing his wrist with an iron grip. With a cold glare, Jingaming admonishes him, stating that touching a lady while covered in sweat is extremely rude, and that he should learn the etiquette of their great Xia country. The air crackles with tension as the two S-ranks stare each other down, their powers flaring. Stunned by Jingaming's unexpected strength, Curran is forced to back down, nursing his wrist. After the confrontation, Ki-Yun thanks Jingaming for his help and suggests they spar somewhere with fresher air, which he agrees to. As they leave the base for a meal, they pass a gaunt man preaching about a final cataclysm and a supreme god, a doomsday cultist trying to recruit followers. Ignored by the passers-by, the man descends into madness, muttering that people only refuse to believe because they haven't felt the pain themselves. He pulls out a strange, dark artifact and lunges at a nearby mother and child. But before he can strike, a flash of purple lightning intercepts him as Jingaming springs into action. Zhu Jingaming stands guard as the grateful mother comforts her terrified child, assuring her that everything is okay now. She thanks Jingaming profusely, telling him that without his intervention, they would not have survived. As he stands over the cultist's body, Jingaming and Song Ki-Yun discuss the strangeness of the attack. Usually, these fanatics only preach. They don't resort to violence in broad daylight. Jingaming's keen eyes scan the crowd, wondering if the man had accomplices, and he spots a hooded figure who quickly turns and slips away. The figure reports back to a shadowy archbishop, confirming that Zhu Jingaming was the one who killed their member. The archbishop, holding a pulsating, bone-filled orb, identifies Jingaming as the S-rank elite from Magic City, who has already reached the upper second tier in less than half a year. Deeming him a future threat, he decides Jingaming must be eliminated. He hands his subordinate a divine blood tracker, ordering him to assemble a recovery team for the divine blood that is about to emerge in the catacombs, and to keep the name of their heaven's fate sect a secret. With a sinister grin, the archbishop declares that in 1 month, their sect will be revealed to the world, and all the elites from the 3 universities, including both S-ranks, will become their sacrifices. The next day, the students from all 3 universities gather at the entrance to the catacombs. The vice principal of Qingjing University, Zhu Ping, officially kicks off the month-long study tour. He explains that the smart bracelets they've received will record their kills, and the top 1,000 students will receive rewards, with the top 3 getting to choose any technique from the university's combat libraries, and the overall winner receiving an extra prize from their school. Immediately, students begin forming squads, eager to hunt beasts. Jingaming's class monitor invites him to join a group that will stick to the perimeter, but he declines, stating that his goal is the central region, and that a team would only slow him down. The perimeter is home to beasts from the 1st to 3rd tier, while the central region contains monsters from the 3rd to 5th tier. Ki-Yun, knowing she can't handle the central region, asks to accompany him for the day or 2 it will take to reach it, and he agrees. Before they can leave, Curran Rao confronts Jingaming, expressing his anticipation for their competition and warning him not to fall too far behind. Jingaming confidently retorts that he is 100% going to beat him. Enraged by his audacity, Curran vows to show him what overwhelming force truly is. As the tour officially begins, the students pour into the catacombs, their excitement palpable. 7 hours later, deep in the perimeter forest, Jingaming and Ki-Yun encounter a pack of 12 iron-haired pangolins. Ki-Yun warns that their fur is harder than E-grade alloy, but Jingaming calmly tells her he'll handle it. He leaps into the fray, his spear a blur as he expertly dodges their rolling attacks and strikes their weak points with lethal precision. Ki-Yun watches in awe, amazed not only by his terrifying instincts, but also by his exquisite control over his energy, wasting not a single drop. After dispatching all 12 beasts and collecting the points, Jingaming prepares to move deeper into the forest. Ki-Yun notes that he's very restrained for a lightning user, and he explains that conserving energy is key to killing more beasts. Using his full power would be overkill. As dusk settles, they decide to find a place to rest. Jingaming's bracelet alerts him to a nearby water source, a prime gathering spot for monsters. He and Ki-Yun head towards it, hoping for one last hunt before nightfall. They arrive at Serene Pond, but find it eerily devoid of life. Suddenly, a massive, saber-toothed tiger emerges from the woods, only to be ambushed by a colossal crocodile that erupts from the water. The 2 beasts clash in a ferocious battle, and Jingaming realizes the terrifying source water giant croc is the reason no other creatures dare approach the pond. Kiayun panics, recognizing it as a fourth-tier beast and urging an immediate retreat, certain they've already been spotted. But Jingaming remains perfectly calm, a smirk playing on his lips as he tells her there's no need to rush. A fourth-tier beast, while strong, is not impossible to deal with. Unfazed, Zhu Jingaming's body erupts in a torrent of purple lightning. He confidently states that while his indestructible thunder body is strong, he has a far more efficient technique for dealing with a fourth-tier beast. As the sky darkens, Song Kiayun wonders if a storm is brewing, but Jingaming unleashes his heavenly lightning art, calling down a massive thunderbolt from the heavens. The lightning obliterates the giant croc in a single, devastating blast, leaving nothing but a frozen, electrified corpse. A system notification confirms the kill, rewarding him with over 200 energy points and a staggering 10,000 score points. He smirks, realizing the Deep Blue system is designed to push him to his limits. As they approach the carcass, Kiayun is utterly stunned, having never witnessed a monster like Jingaming who can effortlessly cross two major tiers of power. They examine the beast, with Jingaming noting that even the ruined skin is worth millions, and the entire body of a fourth-tier beast is a treasure trove. Kiayun offers to store the massive corpse in her spatial ring until they return to base. Since the area is now unsafe, they decide to find a cave to rest for the night. However, Kiayun shyly asks to take a quick bath in the now-cleared pond. Jingaming agrees, but cautiously sends a jolt of electricity into the water first to check for any other hidden beasts. To his surprise, the water reacts violently, and the scent of blood fills the. A few moments later, the water itself turns blood red, emitting a strange, fragrant aroma. Meanwhile, a group of cloaked figures from the Heaven's Fate sect tracks a pulsating orb through the forest. Their archbishop reveals they are recovering the divine blood of the ancient dragon god, an act that will grant their sect another powerful divine blood envoy. He quickly silences a subordinate who speaks their sect's name aloud, reminding them they are to be known as the Blood Moon sect for now. Suddenly, their tracker flares, indicating the divine blood has appeared ahead of schedule, and they race towards its location. Back at the pond, Jingaming watches the water turn blood red and asks Kiayun if she feels an attraction to it. She doesn't, but her Light of Dawn ability senses a thick beast aura in the water, one that feels similar to her own. Realizing it might be a blood essence similar to the one he absorbed, Jingaming decides to test the water himself. He steps in and is immediately engulfed by a swirling cocoon of red energy. Kiayun cries out his name in alarm, but seeing him absorbed, she resolves to protect him, standing guard against the beasts drawn by the commotion. The next morning, she stands exhausted amidst a field of slain monsters, relieved that the strongest was only a lower third tier. Seeing the red aura around the pond has faded, she realizes Jingaming is almost done. Just as the cloaked figures from the Blood Moon sect arrive, their leader is confused, having never seen divine blood take such a form, but he recognizes Kiayun as the number 2 student from Magic City. Kiayun warns them away, claiming the water is contaminated, which enraged one of the cultists, who screams that she dares to call the supreme divine blood contaminated. She activates a guardian talisman, enveloping herself in a protective barrier. The cultists recognize the rare, reusable artifact from an ancient ruin and decide to simply wait for its duration to expire. Kiayun stands her ground, hoping Jingaming will awaken before the barrier's 12-hour limit is up. As the barrier finally shatters, the cultists mock her, offering her a quick death if she hands over the talisman. Cornered, Kiayun prepares for a desperate last stand, but just as they are about to strike, the blood cocoon behind her erupts, and a transformed Zhu Jingaming emerges, his eyes glowing with crimson power. As Zhu Jingaming emerges from the blood cocoon, a colossal red dragon spirit materializes behind him. The archbishop of the Blood Moon sect trembles, unnerved that a mere Tier 2 user's aura could cause his heart to palpitate. Enraged and confused, he orders his followers to kill them both. With a cold, emotionless glare, Jingaming unleashes a storm of purple lightning, instantly vaporizing the weaker cultists. The archbishop is horrified. His men were all at least 3rd tier, yet they were killed in an instant. Before he can react, Jingaming appears before him, his spear flashing with deadly speed. The archbishop barely manages to block the strike but is sent flying back, crashing into a tree, utterly defeated. Panting, he realizes he couldn't even follow Jingaming's movements. Jingaming holds his spear to the man's throat, demanding to know what the blood water was. The terrified cultist reveals it was God's blood, the essence of a rank 9 beast emperor, scattered across the world during an ancient war between martial saints and beast emperors. Jingaming presses for more information, asking about their sect and why they collect the essence. But the cultist merely identifies them as the Blood Moon sect before biting down on a poison capsule, committing suicide with a sinister laugh. With his only lead gone, Jingaming decides he'll have to ask Principal Ling Shuang for answers later. He turns to a worried Qiayun, reassuring her that he's fine and thanking her for her help. She explains that the cultists, the Blood Moon sect, were after the Beast Emperor's blood essence. She's shocked that he could absorb an SSS-class resource directly, as it normally requires complex processing. Jingaming admits he's also confused, but notes that it advanced his indestructible thunder body to the 4th stage without any side effects. Seeing how exhausted she is after guarding him for 2 days, he insists she rest. Later, the Archbishop reports to his superior that their blood indicator lost its signal, likely due to an ability user's intervention. But he's told to abandon the mission and focus on their main operation in 1 month. The next day, Jingaming and Qiayun share a meal of roasted meat by the fire. Qiayun jokes that he should open a barbecue restaurant, and that she, the eldest miss of the Song family, would invest in him, a proposal that would make him a mogul overnight. After their meal, they both take a bath in the now-clear pond, with Qiayun taking advantage of her water abilities to wash herself in a floating sphere of water. After she's done, she shyly tells him it's his turn, leaving him slightly flustered as he tries to avert his gaze. She notices his strange reaction, and a moment later, looks down at her now transparent wet clothes in embarrassment. An hour later, as they prepare to part ways, Qiayun offers him protective and teleportation talismans, but he refuses, confident in his own experience. They share a final fist bump, promising to see each other in a month before heading off in separate directions. Venturing deeper into the central region, Jingaming spends the next few weeks relentlessly hunting beasts. After slaying a peak tier 3 Dark Night leopard, he finds a secluded cave and uses his accumulated points to break through to the next level. In a flash of lightning, he successfully advances to tier 3. His stats have skyrocketed, with both physique and spirit increasing by nearly 400 points, and he has amassed over 48,000 ability points. He's disappointed that it's not quite enough to upgrade his ability to SS rank, but with his current power, he's more confident than ever that taking first place in the competition is well within his grasp.